You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
I just got my latest COVID results. Negative again.
Herpes, maybe not so much, but COVID, yeah.
Well,
welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I'm your host, the Outlaw LA Red. You can find me on social media at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on social media at MMMShow75 if you avail yourself of that aforementioned opportunity. Like many people have on Instagram. Why are we so popular on Instagram now at Byron Fever?
It's just that's where our premium content is. Just instead of a 4-hour podcast, it's just a quick picture and caption, and people seem to enjoy that type of.
So maybe we should shorten this program. Is that the consensus thinking here?
Stop talking about Lucha. That's an hour gone.
By the way, I got a video that I need to post.
What do you mean you got a video of what? What do you have a video of?
I have a
Oh wait.
I have an outtake. What's up, Jim?
You have an outtake of what that you need to post, Byron?
Well, you'll find out.
All right. Well, anyway, let me introduce everybody. That up there is at Byron Fever. Over here we have at Lucha Gringo, the Professor Casey. Way down there across the pond at Meefloaf. That's Meef, MEEFLOAF. Lots of F's in there. You like to do a lot of F'ing over there, Meefloaf. And right there next to me is the one and only the Jimmy V. How's it going, everybody? I want to get to this right off the bat. I will say this. I don't know a whole lot about the entirety of the career of Pat Patterson, other than to say that he's been around for a long time. I, of course, being a little bit younger, know him as one of the Stooges, but I'm sure he had an illustrious wrestling career before that.
Yeah, he was one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time with Ray Stevens. They fucking ruled the San Francisco territory. If you read the obituary in the Wrestling Observer, it's really good for Pat this week because Dave Meltzer used to go to those Cow Palace shows, and those Cow Palace shows were where Pat was main eventing in that tag team with Ray Stevens. I'd say the most current thing that the oldest thing that I'm most familiar with Pat for is his alley fight with Sergeant Slaughter. Okay. Which is fucking great. It's available on the network. If you subscribe to the Wrestling Genius subreddit, which you all should, because the squared circle is garbage, you should have already seen clips like that. But Pat Patterson was a lot more than the Stooge. This is a guy that was the first Intercontinental Champion. He won that illustrious imaginary tournament in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and became the first champion. And he was someone that's wrestling mind was trusted great. Like he was the referee for WrestleMania 1, just in case Mr. T forgot his shit and Pat had to help him out. And it was one of those sort of things. And he's the guy who created the Royal Rumble. He's the guy that would book all of the good Royal Rumbles and could keep track of all the moving parts and the eliminations and the spots and everything. And the guy's mind for wrestling was tremendous. And I think that's most of the legacy that he's left us in our lifetimes, because we're all around the same age. Now, if you're Dave Meltzer's age and you grew up watching him wrestle, you realize what a real treasure he was and what a great worker he was during the 70s as well. I wasn't born until 1980, so I'm not super familiar with his work, but I've heard stories, and reading the write-up in this week's Observer was really great. So I recommend that to everybody. I know sometimes I'll get on Dave Meltzer because I think what he says might be a little bit weird in my eyes, but this was a good one. This was a good one.
Well, Meltzer certainly likes himself enough to go in any direction that he particularly likes. But anyway, rest in peace to Pat Patterson. Definitely a storied career and an influence on wrestling for all of us. I fall somewhere in between you guys and Meltzer in the age bracket wise, even though I know everyone thinks Byron is the oldest one. It's actually me.
I'm the youngest one. What are you talking about? I play 27.
Yeah, no, Meek is younger than you.
Old as shit.
Anyway, I want to start this episode talking about the event that everyone talked about this week. There was a wrestling promotion that got the heat this week, and it was AEW. So kudos to them for, if nothing else, getting the attention of the wrestling world. Yeah. I will give them credit for that.
Dude,
and
there's
everything
attention.
else.
There's attention in the wrestling world, and there's attention in the whole world. And Sting coming back, as inconsequential as that might seem to the rest of us, because we're like, he's not going to wrestle. Who gives a shit? I mean, we still grew up loving Sting, most of us anyway. You have to be a monster not to. And look, it's like Sting going there got them in the top 10 Google searches, okay? Like legit top 10 Google searches, not top 10 Google searches for wrestling, but you're competing with people like looking for buttholes and like all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And Sting was number 10. Sting might have actually beaten out buttholes that week.
No, I mean, not on my search browser, my browser.
There's no way buttholes fell beyond the top 10.
Yeah, come on, man. And look,
maybe they were 9 and Sting was 10. You know, I like to think Sting and buttholes are pretty close.
I have just never been a fan of Sting. I turned off Winter is Coming Justin. After he debuted. I just don't care for Sting. I never have. I didn't like him in the WCW heyday. I didn't like him when he went and turned into the Crow thing. Sting was just never my thing. I was more into a Diamond Dallas Page segment back then than I was a Sting.
Cut him off, Byron.
Cut him off.
Cut him off.
Okay.
Wall of shame.
Justin, wall of shame. We're now
so those of you wondering where the monster thing came from, that was actually because Justin expressed this to us before, and I threw up in my mouth when I read it. Sting was one of my heroes.
So I'd forget it.
I mean, I never saw the appeal of Sting, and maybe it is my age bracket. Maybe it is the fact that I felt like he was a weird throwback to the early 80s WWF thing, and I didn't like it. And I didn't like him trying to take on the goth persona later. I thought it was totally fake and forced, and I didn't feel it. And I thought it was just a ploy for, glomming onto something that I actually liked, which would have been Brandon Lee and the Crow and the comic books and the whole goth styling. I didn't like him taking that on later. I just was never, I never personally had any reason to care about Sting. I just never did.
So what we're saying is old man Justin thought he was too flashy and would rather have him wrestle in black boots and black trunks.
Back in my day, son.
They used to
regular
hair color.
No, like all these fancy.
They didn't used to wear all this face paint in my day,
guys. Surfer
they used to wear the pants and boots. That's all we had.
Why is he wearing all this makeup? Is he a woman or something? No,
they should call him Sting.
We should go one by one and just lay into Justin for his incorrect opinion.
Surfer Sting was one of my heroes as a kid.
Absolutely.
Legit. I mean, to be fair, so was Hulk Hogan, but we don't talk about that anymore.
That drop kick. Oh.
No, bro. Dude, the whole fucking...
The press slam.
But that was part of it for me. Like, I had lived through the Hulk Hogan thing. You guys were like baby toddlers. Like, I was a 10-year-old during the heyday of Hulk Hogan, and I had already done that.
To be fair, dude. My heyday of Sting is Crow Sting.
Sting versus Great Muta. Sting versus Flair. Sting versus the Black Scorpion. Sting versus Rick Rude. The Black Scorpion was a zeitgeist angle in the history of professional wrestling that sucked the audience in like no other.
He was one of the last great true baby faces. And, with that comes
Sting versus Cactus Jack. Sting is the reason Cactus Jack is a star.
I loved, anytime I would watch Saturday Night Main Event all the time, or Saturday Night, the WCW one. And anytime Sting was on, I was so stoked. There was one time he had some big fight coming up, but his knee was in a brace, and I was so worried for him. Oh, man.
Oh, what a little mark you were.
Yeah, no, he was fucking awesome. But by the way, Scott Hall came up with the Crow idea. And to me, I feel like that was also part of...
Of course, Sting didn't come up with it because he's a cheese stick motherfucker. He couldn't come up with something cool.
Did you see? No, Jesus spoke to him in a dream. and
Did
told
you
him to do it.
see-
I
Did
think
you see
you should
Sting?
rip off Taker and Brandon Lee at the same time, Chico.
And do it
And
better.
remember to shave your balls.
Yeah, he did do it better. He did do it better. To an extent until the Hogan match at Starrcade.
Well, he also didn't get shot by a fake bullet. So
That's true.
But he did get set on fire that one time. Remember when he got set on
Yeah.
fire?
Oh yeah,
And
he
then
got set
came-
on fire.
And then he
Yeah.
came back as Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe.
Wait, are you guys trying to convince me that this Sting thing is good? Okay, look. So here's
Oh,
what
we're going to the bad parts.
we're not going to talk about the Vampiro graveyard match. We're not going to.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was so stoked when Sting came back because of two things. Like, first of all, we all knew that Sting was on his way since WWE the Legend deal expired. We all knew, and I thought he was coming in weeks ago. But they do the promo. It fucking snowed outside in Florida.
It was 40 degrees there
That's
or less.
exciting. Okay. Then they bring Sting out. And you know what he does? What WWE didn't do? He hit everything that people marked out for an early Kross Sting phase. Like, this is the last bastion of our wrestling childhood that we got to relive even for just a segment.
Byron, I had a trouble with the snow thing, and that is because of
Glacier?
the connection that we have with Sting. First of all, yeah, I was hoping it was Glacier.
Or
Second is Sting's from like 5 minutes down the street from where me and Byron grew up, and it doesn't snow here. It doesn't. It's nice and warm usually. But yeah, that was a connection that me and Byron had to Sting, as we grew up in the same area as Sting. Sting was kind of the local celebrity, even though he like barely lived here by the time we were like in middle school and high school.
Yeah.
He still had a place here.
But if that counted for anything, then I would be a Son of Havoc fan. If the guy from down the street counted as being your wrestling icon.
I heard you're a big fan of The Miz. That's all.
Well, actually,
Okay.
yes. The Miz
is cool.
The Miz, I didn't like a lot, but then because of the fact that we actually have some mutual friends and whatnot, I actually do kind of appreciate him more. Gargano's from here too, but I don't know any of Gargano's people. He's from deep.
Me and
too.
Me and Sting have some mutual friends like Lex Luger
Yeah.
and the Steiner brothers.
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm all for the
You
Steiner.
mean Larry Poff and Rick and Scott Rex Steiner?
Yeah,
Dude,
Bob and Scott.
How about when Sting went and got in AA's face and you're like, oh, these guys have a history. What's going to happen?
Okay, so let's talk about what actually went down.
Who the fuck calls double AA?
AA.
Sting had an AA meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically like when Austin Aries called himself A double. We're like, no, that's not going to work.
No, that's not going to happen, buddy. I don't know. The stare down with him and Darby, I found to be the most interesting and compelling part of it. I don't know why, but I guess that's why they did it, because they kind of want some question marks out there. That felt like maybe it could be a good thing, but I liked where Cody was at before. Like, I don't want to see this glommed into more Nightmare Family stuff. I don't really see that. And I'm also surprised that this is a multi-year deal with Sting and that they're announcing it.
Yeah, I mean, he is not taking bumps.
No.
Last I heard, he's not taking bumps. He's not wrestling.
It's going to be
a lot of
Bret
these
Hart
old timers
deal.
are. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got
like-
Double A in there. You've got Jake the Snake. You've got now Sting. You've got some of these guys, and clearly AEW has no problem bringing in some of the old timers and paying homage to them to a certain extent. But I do find it weird that we're announcing how much money we're spending on these guys instead of spending the money on, I don't know, let's say a writer, like just maybe one.
Yeah.
Can
Who knows
we all
how
just
much
laugh,
money
though,
they
if they
Or you can take the money. Or you can take the money, get NWO Sting, and have him join Team Taz.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
There we
Okay,
go.
What happens if we then sign Taker and have Taker versus Sting?
Oh, God.
no. Vince will
just to
never.
fuck off WWE.
Vince won't
Isn't it?
even let Taker do like a
Comic-Con.
shoot interview for a different company.
Well, Taker's never going to show up, because at no point in time is there not a couple of $1 million on the table for Taker to do almost nothing at WWE.
Right.
He could show up for one of the Saudi shows. He could come to a WrestleMania and do a small spot. Like, anytime he wants $1 million in the coffers, he can call up Uncle Vince and have some work for a minute. I will say this. I think Taker is the one guy you will never, ever, ever see in another promotion of any kind unless or until Vince is dead. After Vince dies, maybe.
And yes,
maybe.
Or a different business model.
In an alternate universe, if WWE is falling apart because Vince is dead and H and Steph can't really run the show, and the public holdings are going in the tank, maybe then and only then will you see a guy like Taker show up somewhere else.
Here's what's going to happen: Vince is going to die at some point. A couple years later, it's going to be a Saudi show, and then Triple H is going to be like, "Hey, Taker, come out to Saudi." Do a couple of choke slams. You don't even have to take a knee bump for a tombstone. We'll give you like $1 million. They'll get there, and then right before they go to the ring, H is going to be like, "Hey, you're lying down for me, brother."
That'd be at WrestleMania.
I don't know if you guys heard, but they lost the Saudi lawsuit and had to pay them millions of dollars. So I don't think there's going to be another Saudi show ever.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I think it was by insurance too. But here's one thing that I will agree with you, Justin. And I think I know the director of the AEW shows through someone, so I feel bad. But also, like, it just feels like he's never seen the show before, and the shots are very haphazard. But the Sting Darby moments, the whole Sting segment was like precisely shot. Everything, every shot shown, every cut seemed to be deliberate and have a purpose. And like all the shots of like the face paint with Sting and Darby were just incredible. I mean, they can't shoot the entrance of their fucking champ, but they can do this.
Any of their champs.
Well, you know why? It's because they probably had their mark set and they probably rehearsed it before the show.
I think so.
Because they couldn't ruin it.
It felt like one of the few things that maybe they even had a quick little storyboard for, of like, hey, let's get this and this a shot. Let's hit these marks. And maybe Sting even insisted on it, because we know that it is really the talent running that show over there. So after you bring Sting in, he might have been, wanting a little more of that WCW level production stuff. And believe me, he booked out his stuff and hit his marks, and they planned his stuff, his coming from the rafters and his pop-ups and all that stuff. Every time Sting did a big entrance, it was very, very planned out in WCW, camera marks and everything.
You got the Young Bucks backstage with some fucking crayons.
But that's what you're supposed to do.
Correct.
Like, they have that generic entrance where a wrestler will walk out to the front, and then they'll get the close up, and then they'll walk past camera as the camera tilts up to the screen, right? That's their generic. But you have Cody has his big where you just keep the white shot for all the fireworks and stuff.
Well, Cody's entrance though needs to be dialed in a little better, because his own timing of the performance of his entrance doesn't quite fit the music right. It's like it doesn't get going at the right time when the music kicks up. Something about his entrance is off too. But it's unforgivable because they've also been doing their show in the exact same location now for 5-6 months. Like, you got to dial it in at some point. Like, how are we still missing camera angles on entrances that are the same every week? Okay, you miss it in a match, whatever. But how are you missing it on an entrance that you've been doing for months, 4 or 5 times a month for like 6-7 months straight? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's funny how, like, during an entrance, you'll see a wrestler play to the camera, and as he's playing to the camera, they cut to something else.
Cut away! Like, who is calling this from the truck? What is going on?
That reminds me of, like, Jack Evans for Lucha, his debut week. He's talking nonstop, and they kept it in the show. And then you see them cut like half of it out the second week. And like this week, when we talk about it, like they have that whole mic muted. They didn't even bother
it's handstand all of a sudden magically in the ring. Like, we've had enough of Jack now.
I wonder if like there's a reason they cut some of these guys off like that.
You never know.
Got to make time.
Yeah. Anyway, Sting is great, and we're all happy.
Wait, what? No. I thought we were going to call this episode Sting Stinks. Wasn't that what we were going to call this whole episode of our show?
No.
I mean, I'm happy to
call this the cheese sandwich. That's what we're calling it.
Yeah, we're going to call it the fucking cheese sandwich.
We're going to get to that, believe me, because that's fucking ridiculous.
mustard.
Okay, that wasn't even the important thing that happened on the show. I mean, we're kind of understating Kenny Omega winning the title just a little bit right now.
No,
Because
we're
Kenny
not.
Omega,
Because
no
for
one
me,
cares
that is a way bigger deal than Sting. I was mad about the whole Sting thing because I literally turned off Winter's Coming after that. I did not want to see Mox. I don't dislike Mox, but I'm very over what they're doing with him. Like I got to the point where I was like, God, somehow the match that I actually turned this thing on to watch, I don't even care to watch right now. So I had to take like a half hour, 45-minute break. And then I went back and then I actually thoroughly enjoyed the Kenny Omega Mox match. It had its issues, but Kenny Omega is your new AEW champion. And I'm all for that. We've been talking about it here for months.
Clean as a sheet. Gentleman's agreement. Woo! Kenny wins.
I mean, I agree with you. I just every time I know I was just talking a lot. I'm doing a charcuterie plate. But every time you say or someone says they don't dig Mox, I feel like I want to say like I do dig Mox, and I feel he was dealt a bad card, deck of hands things. But
bad card, deck of hand. Wow, that was all over the places.
You know what I mean? But I do.
No, I don't.
You know what I mean? But I do agree. It's just like this guy was not losing a match until Kenny. And that it's like if he was going to beat Kingston or if Kingston was going to beat him, I thought that would be fantastic. But he was just placeholdering at some point until Kenny. And that kind of takes steam off.
Well, and it's super transparent that, you know, he's going to take a little bit of paternity leave at this point anyway. And he had a kind of crazy year. Like he had his run with the belt. He's still a star for the company. He'll come back and do some stuff and hopefully won't have to work as strong a program in his next program so he can have a little bit of time. Like, why leave WWE and then like force yourself into a WWE like schedule? That doesn't
paternity leave.
Isn't it weird that two members of the Shield are out for paternity leave?
Yeah, the kid come out, it's fucking dickhole. Hey, back in my day, I just left the kid at home and went on the road and pounded some Steve Weisers. Then I came back home and pounded Deborah.
So is this confirmation of
when you say pound?
Is this confirmation that Roman Reigns is the only Shield member that uses condoms or pulls out?
Well, no, he had another kid too.
Yeah,
he did. Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Roman been done started his romance thing.
Roman isn't just he's not like a chatty Cathy about his whole family situation.
Yeah, he took that time to recoup and get his teeth done.
Yeah,
and managed to get the vest surgically removed.
Surgically removed. That's funny, Meef.
He was just doing push-ups the whole time. I need abs and shit now.
So okay, Byron.
Yeah,
I know you were watching. I know you were watching the match more intently probably than all of us. What was the deal with the corner botch? What the hell? What happened?
All right. Well, I gotta put a bunch of food in my mouth.
I know. That's why I asked you now.
Yeah.
I figure at least this way we can get a straightforward answer so you can concentrate on getting back to your food.
God damn it,
straightforward answer from Byron.
Why don't you put down your goddamn charcuterie plate and just talk on the podcast?
Mass Mental Meme is the premier wrestling mukbang podcast. So here's the thing. First of all, I thought most of the match, they kept talking about how it's going to go into overtime and they'll stick to it. I thought they were going to do, because they love, the New Japan style of presentation. I thought they were going to go 40 minutes, maybe 60, just to prove it. I thought they were. And so a lot of the match felt like that Okada main event first gear, which kind of, threw me off when they stopped so short on that sort of track. The quarter botch was supposed to be the thing that makes Kenny look super hurt. And then Don Callis comes down and he's like, stop the match. Let's check this out for the diversion microphone thing, which also you're blading on a microphone.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a fucking cushion. There's a cushion. Anyway. So Kenny was going up to the top rope to do sort of a Phoenix splash. He's facing the other way. So Phoenix splash, moonsault, whatever. He's facing the other way. And then Mox is supposed to push him on the ass. And he's supposed to fall through a heater, a gimmicked heater that was ringside. Kenny was up there and he already transitioned to two legs on the one rope to do the jump right before Mox got there. And so he just did the jump on his own. Mox did sort of get there in time, but it wasn't what they were looking for. He didn't crash through the thing. So they went down. Mox went out and DDT'd him on the floor instead, or like tried to DDT suplex him through the heater. Nothing happened with the heater. and I wouldn't have even noticed it, except the announcers kept hitting their lines about it.
Yeah,
exactly.
that was a little weird.
Which
But it
is
was
like-
funny because the top rope thing made Kenny look sort of suicidal because Moxley wasn't there. Like, and he jumped himself. If he had gone through the heater with that, it would have been hilariously bad.
That would have been awesome.
Not only that, but then he went ahead and jumped back up on the apron immediately without even selling the fall.
Yeah.
Good times.
It was definitely that section of the match definitely did not go as intended.
Also, can someone explain to me what kind of magic trick Don Callis was going to do? Because when he got hit, all these rose petals or something flew out of him.
Yeah,
That
what
was
was
awesome.
completely unexplained? Just poof.
I was like, wait, was there like a botched spot there? Or was like, no, he's doing like a video game thing where, you know, instead of seeing like birds or something, it's just rose petals.
No, he has it in his suit.
John Woo directed this episode.
Where you keep the tissue and stuff.
Right, but why? Why?
He's a classy gentleman from Alberta, Canada, or something.
Canada?
From Moose Town, Canada.
Was that
From
because like he
Winnipeg.
didn't have cologne and he just wanted to smell of rose petals? I don't know.
That's what it is. It's some kind of Hunger
They don't
Games
have
thing.
they don't have cologne in Canada. Everyone
He's an
smells
ex-
like a fucking moose there. Come on.
He's an executive. He wears flowers.
He's
Which,
a
by the way,
wrestling
he's not-
executive. You don't even shower for that.
He is a wrestling executive for another company, which I thought was great. I love, like, honestly, everybody who's not WWE should occasionally just suck it up and work together on something. I think that is absolutely the right thing to do. When the promotions started doing that a few years back with Impact and AAA and Lucha Underground and all those guys started kind of coming together a little bit. It just makes sense, you know, and New Japan has done that throughout the years and should continue to do that, and Ring of Honor and whatnot. I like stuff like this. I'm interested to see, you know, Kenny go and cut a promo on Impact next week. I don't think it's going to be any major storyline or angle over there unless he steals Chris Bay's opportunity to win that title, which would be hilarious because Bay has finally worked himself into the title picture against Swan after a very short-lived EY run with the belt, a little courtesy run for EY.
Yeah, good for EY.
Good for EY.
Dude,
Don't
EY's
fire Eric.
Eric's a great guy, you know.
I feel bad that he had that great sanity gimmick where he was also the veteran with all the young kids coming up. The sanity gimmick was great. He didn't even have to do too much in it. And when they bring him all up to the main stage, they fucked him off. And then they made him shave his beard or something, and they just wasted him.
Yeah, WWE is a tough place for a guy like EY because he's a guy who's just going to show up and work. He doesn't complain a lot, but he's also not going to push a lot. You know, he's going to go in there and be excited about his gimmicks and his angles and whatnot. He always has been, but he's not going to be one of those guys in there, you know, fighting in booking meetings or trying to get, you know, his shit over or having any tremendous ideas himself. He's just the guy that likes to work hard. He'll go out there, put his body on the line. He'll take care of whoever he's wrestling with and just do the actual job. And
Here's
at
what you
WWE,
do,
that's
dude.
tough unless you're some huge dude.
You got to give him a Sandman Jr. gimmick, not Tyler Fullington. But EY and Sandman have the same voice and similar hair. I think it could work.
But
Anyway,
here's another thing about him, which makes him good as a wrestler for your company, but bad in WWE. He does outside projects.
yes.
He starred in TV shows, which is great. Makes him a bigger, more
They have a
recognizable
fisherman show.
brand.
Well, you know, he showed up and did his thing for me on my fantasy football show last year and did not run it through WWE like he was supposed to. He was still WWE talent at the time. He just was like, fuck it, come on, I'll come do your show at some other major network thing without getting approval.
Now,
Well, at this
how bad would you feel if he got fired because of your show?
And not bad at all. It was his idea. What were you going to say, Jim?
A lot of times it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission because more likely than not, you're not going to get permission from them.
Yeah.
And I've had personal experience with that, so it kind of sucks.
Me too.
Well, he didn't start a Twitch account or anything, so I think he should have been safe.
Yeah, we when I interned at Channel 5, I was trying to get Rey Mysterio as a guest on the show. And he's like, all right, yeah, but you got to go through the WWE office, talk to this person. And then that's when that list of names came out from that special doctor. And then we're just like, okay, this is fucked. It's not going to happen.
Never mind.
Is
Let's
that
not
why?
even ask.
Is that why you were trying to get him on your show to talk on the news to talk to him? You're like, great, we want to talk to you about Lucha Libre, but you're just gonna backdoor that other stuff. That reminds me of my flipping show. We're doing after the Boston bombing. We're doing a charity house for someone who was a big Ravens fan. And we're supposed to get Ray Lewis to come on at the end of the show to give him a present and be like, "Good job." You know, they had talked or something, but we were going to surprise the guy we were fixing the house up for. And then Ray went radio silent.
Yeah. Big surprise.
Like, where'd he go?
Wait,
And then,
do I have to do this? Was somebody paying me $1 million to do this? Oh, never mind then.
Guys,
And
I
then
don't watch sports.
No.
He's the guy that sang the Ghostbusters song.
No. It's
Ray Parker Lewis Jr.
Wait, what? It may have been. Hold on, I'm bad with names. But it was
you're correct.
Lewis can't lose.
You're correct.
But it wasn't the money thing. It was like I looked at my phone while we're like, finishing up the floor and doing this and that, trying to figure out staging and furnishing and when we're going to shoot the final scenes. And then I look at my phone and I see, oh, yeah, we're not going to see this guy anytime.
Yeah, this
soon.
isn't happening.
He just knocked out his fiance in an elevator in a Vegas casino hotel where there's like 10,000 cameras that have all sorts of views of him knocking her out and then dragging her down the hallway.
I thought you were going to say it was...
Then fast forward, he wins the Super Bowl and he thanks God.
Of course.
I thought you guys
who
were
else
going
could
to say
pull
he
him out of
got in
that shit?
trouble. I thought you were going to say he got in trouble with Huey Lewis in the news for stealing the song for Ghostbusters.
No, that one. The other thing I want to say about the Mox Kenny thing, they build this as, the super clean, let's follow the rules and do some real wrestling match. And I get that they were going to work a gimmick towards the end to kind of spit in the face of that a little bit.
Yeah, that should be the red flag whenever they say something.
Right,
like
but how do you explain the 7.5 minutes that they fought outside the ring where the ref didn't give anyone a count out or even start a count?
Oh,
they didn't even give the line where they said the ref is going to give more leniency because of the title match. They didn't even say that.
Well, as long as you're wrestling cleanly all over the building, like if you're working a headlock, then you're okay.
They're like John
wearing your mask should be fun.
They're like John Moxley trying to kill a commercial break.
I know, and that's what it was.
But
they started it like 3 minutes too soon, and then the commercial break was the longest one of the whole night. And it was like 7 minutes later. I'm like, okay, guys, I get it, but you're not Shane Douglas. Get back in the ring, please. This is ridiculous.
I don't like Shane Douglas. I said it.
There, you said it. I don't like
least favorite
Sting.
ECW champion. You know what? If I could comparing Sting to Shane Douglas,
I would take Shane Douglas over Sting.
Ice cream to horse manure. Okay, I had to use Shane's own line against him. There you go.
I did like Mox and Kenny sitting down in the chairs though and doing the slap fest and the slug fest from the chairs. I thought that was very entertaining.
I really wanted to know how many times they went back and watched PWG tapes too.
Wasn't it?
I think the last time I saw that spot was Chris Hero and Evil Uno.
Well, the good thing was it was JR who was the one who was like, I've never seen this happen before.
Yeah, get him so
he's the only one who hasn't.
Right.
The guy who says he's never seen it before, but then he harps on people if they don't know some outdated reference he makes.
Correct.
But if they know a move name, then he makes fun of them.
I liked how the WWE guy
hey, Excalibur, tell me the story behind this. Well, JR, here's the story behind it. Ha, that's a stupid story. Why'd you tell me that?
way to know the name of a falcon arrow, you fucking nerd.
I like how JR started coaching Excalibur to do the ad reads now too. It's great. You could just hear Excalibur.
I mean, there's some certain things too on the commentary. It's like, especially with Shivani and JR there, no one called a lion salt. Jericho's big, giant, fat ass actually pulls off one of his best looking lion salts in ages, and nobody calls the spot.
I am afraid for him doing that move anytime I see it now.
Correct. I think the second rope is going to break.
No,
we don't need a Hayabusa.
Yeah, I'm getting Hayabusa vibes, and it needs to stop. Yeah.
I agree, but at the same time, like, he does do it. He pulls it off, and they're talking about, I don't know, like Britt Baker rearranging somebody's teeth or something else, and like nobody calls the spot. And I'm like, are you guys kidding me? Kaz is in there with freaking Jericho, and they're putting on an old man show and doing a pretty good job of it, and nobody calls one of the guy's signature spots that, like, is named after him now, that they actually use that name in other promotions.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Let me tell you something, Justin. I don't appreciate you calling him Kaz.
Okay. Sorry.
And if it continues, you might just end up just another victim of the human suplex machine.
Also, I'd like to point out that
Beat me if you can. Survive if I let you.
in the year
This is a bit now,
2020, Frankie Kazarian did the flux capacitor on Chris Jericho.
Yes.
And
that was amazing.
Excalibur like popped for huge, but especially JR and Shivani, they were dead quiet for it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like when I would see Kazarian do that move back in the day, it made me like mark out. But then now, like these guys are doing it today and nothing from them.
Yeah, they wanted like Jericho versus Chavo Guerrero or something. I don't know what they were looking for, but I thought that Jericho and Kazarian, Frankie, I thought they put forth literally the best version of what you were going to get from those guys in 2020. I thought it was great, and I was not disappointed at all. I liked it a lot.
Frankie is doing great. He's like, I mean, you can't even tell
Frankie's a machine
by looking at him, you know?
Yeah.
And he's earning every bit of, screen time that he's getting right now.
And he's clearly lost a step, and that still makes him better than a lot of these guys.
And I got to say the hair growing back is a very good choice because he was looking like Sloth from Goonies or maybe Unmasked Jason a little bit. It's looking better now.
But it is weird. Like, I don't mind Tony or JR. I love Tony, but both of them are kind of distractions. And when you watch Dark, you get it. Like, it's fun. But when they're both together,
I think that's the problem. Like we need one or the other of those guys. I prefer Shivani. I thought when he came in, he was great. And I keep hearing tale of Mauro Ranallo showing up with AEW soon. I would like to see Shivani. I would like to see Shivani, Ranallo, and
Ranallo's hair. Ranallo's emo hair.
My God, Mauro Ranallo looks like AJ Styles.
No, Mauro Ranallo looks like a normal size hornswoggle with that hair.
How about Mauro Ranallo making a Nate Dogg reference and being able to look over at Snoop Dogg to get like validation? Like, how hard was he at that moment? He has to be like the happiest he's ever been.
Yeah, I don't know that whole Tyson Jones, Roy Jones thing. I love the whole thing. It was super weird. You've got, the dude from Saved by the Bell trying to sell you weed in between the breaks. You've got Snoop Dogg doing commentary all over the place. The most sane person in the entire building is Israel Adesanya. Why the hell's he there? No clue. Sugar Ray Leonard. Oh my God, never give that man a microphone again. He needs to be in a hospital somewhere. He was unintelligible as a human being. That was not something as a boxing fan I ever wanted to see. Like Muhammad Ali's last days were more coherent than anything Sugar Ray Leonard did. It was bad.
That's sad, dude. I learned to punch people with the Sugar Ray Leonard boxing kit for children that had little like.
I mean, and all he wanted to do the only interesting commentary that Sugar Ray Leonard had the entire night was to talk about his losses and how brutal they were and how terrible they were to watch and how they were the most horrifying things ever and how he should have never stepped in the ring. It's like, Ray, this is a boxing event. We're trying to get people excited about watching boxing.
I bet Snoop got him high.
You're reliving like one of the worst moments in all of boxing history, even though it's your moment. Like, let's not do this. We got two old ass dudes about to get in the ring and do exactly what you're talking about being a bad thing.
Shouldn't be done. Yeah.
But the fight itself, holy crap! Mike Tyson, the first 10 seconds of the fight when he moved across and did this whole thing and he looked like he was in a game of Punch Out. I was like, somebody forgot to give Mike the memo that this is just like for shits and giggles. Like Mike, and he even kind of admitted that afterwards when they called their fakety fake draw. Like Mike forgot, and it wasn't even getting hit once. It was like the second he heard the bell. Never ring a bell around Mike Tyson. That's the moral of the story, because clearly he went back into killer instinct. Just
like Festus. Bro.
Yes.
Byron, I'm sending you something that we need to share on the show.
All right.
It's going to be in the chat here. It is a factory error of the Rey Fenix figure from AEW.
Ooh.
Where they forgot to give him a face.
What?
It's like, I know he's a mass luchador and all, but he doesn't.
I feel like they have these weird painting errors with their figures.
Oh, the Jericho one.
Like if it's not properly lined up, then it just looks off. I wouldn't be surprised if the eyes were painted on, but under the mask.
Well, look at this. Is there a way you could zoom, Byron?
Oh my gosh.
The next image, if you click to the next image,
got no eyes.
Close up.
Click next image. It's bad.
Wow.
So someone paid extra to get that from Ringside Collectibles too. So
you can even tell the paint is off, is misaligned because the paint for inside his mouth.
The mouth is all off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
So basically, his eyes, you can't see it because they're under the mask, but they're under his forehead.
He looks like he just took a kick to the face like Dos Caros Jr. or something right there.
it looks like that.
Oh, let's not mention Dos Caros.
No. He looks like that scene in one of the Aliens movies where Sydney just flamethrowers a whole laboratory of what things that look like this that are muttering, "Kill me, kill
You're
me."
saying he looks like a melted Nazi from Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I'm thinking this looks like the time he broke his nose at the Lucha Underground taping.
No, because that would have been covered in so much
Pan's
blood.
Labyrinth.
The paint wouldn't have even mattered.
Maybe this is the blood and guts version, and they just forgot to put the blood on his nose.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
This reminds me when WWE did the game and they left. You could take Kalisto's mask off and show his real face.
Yeah. I had that game.
Hey, but in good Phoenix news, though, a big shout out to Mass Republic and Legends of Lucha Libre getting a Lucha Brothers and a Phoenix and a Penta shirt into Hot Topic this week, which is pretty.
Yes.
And they're dope ones too. I thought like a lot of times.
That one's amazing.
Yeah, sometimes
the Penta one's really good.
It's subpar merchandise for some reason. It's like whatever design comes around last or something is what people end up getting thrown into or into Hot Topic. But these are dope. I dig them.
Yeah,
that Puma shirt that they did.
Miedo is spelled correctly, so to everyone.
Also, someone else in select locations got a certain shirt housing.
Yes, Danhausen's fucking shirts. Look, man, if Danhausen's getting in, that means Warhorse is close. Because I know Hot Topic would sell tell your little baby dork ass friends to watch wrestling shirts by the thousands. So come on. But Danhausen, look, man, AEW not signing Warhorse, they gave him a shot, but Cody sucks and ruined the whole match. And then Danhausen, they should sign him too. What the fuck?
He signed with Ring of Honor Hausen.
Yeah, but they're nothing to me.
Yeah,
Ring of Honor's like you're working at like Arby's and shit.
How hard is it?
Dude, first of all, I fucking love Arby's, so let's not.
And second of all, we fucking love Mickey James, so you leave Arby's alone.
What's a terrible American? Because Arby's never made it here, so to me, they're you
gotta try Arby's. There's Arby's is kind of dope. Oh, and in other T-shirt news,
you gotta go to Boston and get a good roast beef.
Going back to the Sting thing, he sold the most 24-hour sales of that shirt that he wore on AEW for PWT, which is amazing. I'll give credit for that. Like,
looks like you should change your name to the Outlaw LA Raw.
No, listen. I will say this: moving merch is a sign of being over. Period. Point blank. End of story. That is what will get you noticed in companies. It certainly means that he probably is worth the deal that they gave him overnight. I will admit that part. I'm just not personally excited about it because the guy never really did much for me. Like, I don't see a storyline and where I'd be like, yeah, Sting's involved.
I just
like,
feel
Justin needs to go back and watch that 97 promo that he does.
I feel
in the rain.
He likes the franchise. It explains everything.
Yeah.
No, but you know what?
That's what it is. That's what it is, because Sting is the real franchise, not Shane Douglas.
Exactly.
What? I cannot imagine the sadness of a life that does not pop for Sting.
Especially against Vader. The sadness of a life that does not watch the White Castle of Fear match.
Oh my God, the White Castle of Fear.
It's in my laundry right now, but I just bought a White Castle of Fear shirt. No, it's the Castlevania cover, but it's Sting whipping the strap, and then Vader's up above, and it's the White Castlevania of Fear.
I want
who wouldn't make dude, I want a Vader helmet more than anything. Like, I would quit this podcast for life if someone bought me a Vader helmet. Please, someone do it.
Is that really much of a sacrifice?
No, by the way, I'm laughing because I've just realized how long we've run on the first section.
Yeah, the sacrifice is you doing the show for getting the helmet, Casey.
Listen, the one thing I am excited about, and it's not Sting from AEW, I loved the Thunder Rosa run-in. I love the Britt Baker thing. I thought they played it exactly right.
Yeah,
it was great. The thing I did not love was the Battle Royal Oh my God. This was the most poorly planned battle royal I think I've ever seen. I swear to God, they booked
Is it after the last AEW one?
The ending was okay, but oh my God, at the beginning, nobody knew whose turn it was to do the next spot. Everybody was resting in the corner at one point for 2 minutes. And even the cameramen were like, no, there's nothing.
I really hope that the booking of this battle royal isn't what made Pat decide to let go. It was
well, he passed away before it, so
he did. Okay, my timeline's a little off. I'm sorry.
No, thank God.
It can't be too soon if the reference was technically too late. So
my issue is, first of all, in the pullback, Reba, not Rebel, she's just being the worst wrestler ever, and it's probably half of what she's going for, and also half that she doesn't work anymore. But she went and threw some super soft forearm in the direction of Mel, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, it was great.
And then, excuse me, I thought the battle royal was great. I mean, you're not going to get it's not COVID. I can taste the shit out of this.
Okay,
so
can you smell it?
Can smell for those audio listeners. I'm tasting and smelling cheese right now. I thought the battle royal, you're not going to get. It's a series of moments. You're not going to get, story.
For our audio listeners, Byron is currently sucking dick.
Right, but it's.
So I thought they did a lot of good stuff. I thought, Orto, Powerhouse Hobbs.
I'm not saying that they weren't good. What I'm saying is that it's supposed to be a consistent series of moments.
But the director, to me, fucked it all up. There was this whole Sky and Spears element, and who's doing that over there? Element, and Spears costs Sky and knocks him out, and they're posing and they're doing their whole scene on the side of the ring, and they will not cut to the camera people who are there shooting it.
It's twofold. It's the talent, but predominantly it's the camera crew.
It's the director.
It's the director. Whoever's doing that is just
but whoever's sitting at Gorilla, should be calling in what should be happening, and the refs at the apron should be telling what guys are supposed to do their spots next. And there was literally one point in time when in all four corners you had 5 people all hunkered down, not even battling in the corners a little bit because they're all looking around wait, whose spot is it now?
Well, to be fair, MGF, Sammy, and Wardlow were supposed to be in the corner, the 3 of them,
correct,
by themselves. The problem is that anytime anyone went near them and just hung out with them, it just made it look worse.
Yeah. Well, and you had Cassidy, whose gimmick is to just kind of hanging out in one of the other corners. Matt Hardy, who's 700 years old, he was hanging out in another corner because he's 700 years old.
He's doing the heel turn now.
Yeah, and they missed a lot of that heel turn. They totally missed. They barely caught him throwing out Isaiah Cassidy.
Yeah,
which was supposed to prompt his heel turn in a way.
The storylines were there. They did the right thing of hey, let's merge all these storylines and put them into this big battle royal. That was the correct thinking. The execution, maybe not so much. Hey, listen, we still got a big show coming up. We got a lot of other stuff going on. Byron,
4 hours today.
Byron, do we have a guest today? We have a cool interview. Who do we got on deck today?
Yeah, after the break, we're gonna have Mr. No Days Off, Fred Rosser.
What?
He's gonna talk to us about how his career is going. He's doing New Japan, which is exciting. He's doing the New Japan show, New Japan Strong, and he's doing some other stuff. And then also he has a new reality show that he just did, which surprised me. And I watched it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And he's going to come on and talk to us about his career and all the new things he's doing.
Super dope. Cannot wait to hear all about it. But first we got to jump over to Denise Salcedo over in Lucha Central to find out everything that's happening this week on the Lucha Central Podcast Network.
Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo here in Lucha Central with a reminder of where and when to catch all of the great network content this week. Get the full lineup and listen to all of our shows in the podcast network section of luchacentral.com. Sundays on the Lucha Central Facebook page, world-traveled shooter of the camera kind, Jerry Villagrana goes mano a mano with a fellow photographer to throw down about some of their favorite photos they have taken at Lucha Libre events. Monday, Business of the Business returns as Mass Republic President Kevin Kleinrock takes you inside how your favorite Lucha Libre merchandise gets made. On Tuesdays, Mass Mats and Mayhem takes you inside the world of Lucha Underground as they take you weekly through the series with the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of special guests from the groundbreaking series. Check out the premiere video stream every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on the Lucha Central YouTube channel and at luchacentral.com. Then listen to it on your favorite podcast platform every Wednesday. Tuesday nights live, it's Wrestle Boss, where Fabi Chulo talks MMA and pro wrestling with special guests and listener call-ins. Visit WrestleBossLive.com Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific to listen live or call in with questions or download the show on podcast platforms on Wednesdays. Wednesday nights live on Facebook, it's Spanish show La Mesa de los Márgaros, giving you both the news and the chisme from around the lucha world. Special guests and a whole lot of fun make it one of the most talked about shows in Mexico. Thursdays, it's Straight Out of the Bodega with Papo Esco and PWR promoter Gabriel Ramirez, as they have guests from throughout the wrestling world pull up to give an inside look into their careers. From indie standouts to television superstars, each week brings a new name and perspective. On Friday, it's your double dose of Lucha Central Weekly podcast, one in English y el otro en español. Lucha Central Weekly is where you'll find all the top stories of the week, both inside and out of the ring from Mexico and anywhere luchadores are in action across the globe. Be sure to subscribe and follow all your favorite Lucha Central Network series on your favorite podcast platforms, either by their own series name or subscribe to the Lucha Central Podcast Network show pages to get all of the shows in one easy feed. And please consider giving a rating to help more fans find the shows that you love. For now, this is Denise Salcedo signing off from Lucha Central Central. Have a great week.
Hi, I'm Michael Musto, the host of Theality TV.
What is Theality TV? Let's take it from the top. This is Rob. He's on top of life for the most part.
I forgot my laptop on the plane.
He loves musicals. After 10 years of trying to get his musical, Little House on the Ferry on Broadway, an investor finally gave him a chance on East Broadway. But there's a catch.
We're gonna get you 1 month.
1 month?
One night only.
One night only.
$10,000.
$10,000?
Even on a shoestring budget, this is the opportunity he's been waiting for. He will do anything to make his masterpiece. It won't be easy. The casting process is insane.
It's not a match for the singing.
Okay.
You cannot be that dismissive.
His investor surprises him with a must-hire lead actor who has never sang or danced, but has acted in the WWE.
Well, wrestling is kind of acting. It's like theater.
But he looks good.
I'm out. Take 5.
As far as headshots go, they would usually have a lot more clothes on.
Everything has gone wrong. The actors are divas.
What the fuck?
This is going to be a disaster.
The crew is difficult.
I'm going to finish the fish costume. Do you want that done or not?
No. I told you what I want.
This is the most unprofessional thing you've ever done.
But so is he.
Where's the kiss? Where is the kiss?
I know Rob, and I have a feeling we're going to be arguing.
There's always another challenge, struggle, or roadblock. But this is his dream, and he'll do anything to make it a reality.
Do you feel comfortable having a penis painted onto your crotch?
If that's what the audience wants.
I don't know if that is what the audience wants.
It's a lot. Take a chill pill. The show goes on.
Here he is on the Lower East Side with a bunch of crazy ideas and a bunch of crazy people trying to put on the best show he can for an audience of investors who can turn his crazy dream into a real Broadway musical.
Break it now.
Follow his journey on Theality TV.
If you want to use the toilet, I will go down the street. That's all I'm saying.
Welcome back to Mass Mats and Mayhem, and we are joined today by a very, very special guest. I'm sure many of you wrestling fans out there know exactly who he is, formerly known as Darren Young in the WWE. This is Mr. No Days Off himself, Fred Rosser. Fred, how are you doing today, man? What's going on?
I'm doing well. You know, first and foremost, I always correct the interviewer. It's a pet peeve of mine to be called like former, because former sounds like washed up. I like to be called a veteran because my career with WWE started not only in 2009, but it started in 2002 when I was doing extra work, 2002, 2003, doing extra work with WWE, and then ultimately getting signed in 2009. So anytime I do interviews or introduce myself, I always say WWE veteran is in the house. But thanks for having me on, guys. I'm just having fun here.
I appreciate it. And you know what? I like that veteran WWE performer. And I dig too that you came up through the whole system. You went the real path, right? I mean, you did the whole Florida Championship Wrestling thing all the way up through and kind of trained, you know, the old school way. I feel like a lot of the performers now don't necessarily have to go that route anymore. So you are definitely a veteran of the game and of the business. I got to ask you right off the bat, since we're talking about that, there was a young performer that you did a couple of spots with real quick, guy named Karrion Kross. You remember that guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now WWE's Karrion Kross, but he's a friend of the show. He's been on a bunch of times, and we've kind of seen his whole trajectory. What was that moment like? Like that was your comeback, right? When you were coming back into WWE at that point?
Yeah, I think I had just got back from, was it knee? Maybe it was knee surgery, and I got brought back up onto the roster, and I was teaming with Kross because I just got brought back up to the roster. The Unknown with me, and then ultimately I think we were wrestling the Ascension, and then we got beat up, me and Kross, and then my old tag team partner Titus O'Neil came to make the save. And then fast forward to years later, last year, him and I had teamed doing some independent shows before he got signed, and I had no idea that I had teamed with him years ago because he looked a lot different. And like I was apologizing because he was telling me, "You don't remember me, do you?" I said, "No, I don't," you know. And then he told me the story, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I apologize, bro. You look so different," you know. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy for his success, and you know, I'm rooting for all the guys that are not necessarily under me, but are just like making moves and making waves, and he's doing just that.
So Byron, which is great, by the way. I love just how both of you guys kind of came up, and the fact that you didn't recognize him, that speaks volumes to the fact that, you know, as a performer, you know, like when you first hooked up with him, he was a wrestler. He knew some spots. He could go out there. He could work a little bit. But when you guys were on the indies together a little bit, he was a performer by then. He you know, and it takes time. What you guys do is a craft. Yeah. You know, it's not just, you know, getting out there and doing the moves and running the ropes. It's a little more than that. And you got to have a personality. You got to have something to it. And he hit the gym.
Yeah, that was the big thing. Yes. I looked. I did a quick Google just to see, and it's almost like Baby Kross standing next to you know, Darren Young in the ring, and like he's a big guy, but but standing next to you, he looked like, oh, he probably needs to do a few push-ups. Not anymore though. Please don't tell him I said that. But
yeah.
So Byron, you got to explain to us how this interview with Fred came about, because you know, Byron and I both have some reality TV connections, and that's our primary shoot jobs. And you've kind of stepped into that world too. But Byron, how did we get Fred on the show today? What's going on?
Yeah, so an old friend of mine from Storm Chasers, Keith, hit me up one day out of the blue and said, "Hey man, I produced this reality show about making a Off Broadway musical." And it stars this WWE wrestler, Fred Rosser. Do you think you'd want to have him on your wrestling talk show to, you know, talk to him about that in his career? And, you know, he was like doing that. And I was like, I had cut him off, and I'm like, man, I just watched Fred Rosser fight Tom Lawlor on New Japan Strong.
Oh,
you know,
yes.
Stuff he
Filthy Tom.
Like, I just saw him, you know, beat Filthy Tom. Like, of course I know who fucking Fred Rosser is. Get him on my show.
That's brilliant.
So yeah, I'm beyond excited. I binged the whole Theality TV thing, and then when it was done, I wasn't really paying too much attention at the beginning. So when it was done, when Keith was talking to me, so when it was done, I saw that the actual complete musical is on Broadway on demand as well, and I was so stoked because, you know, with the show you see segments, and so so I've been watching the actual musical. So I love Broadway musicals, off-Broadway musicals. I saw Hamilton.
You love Broadway musicals. I was once Captain Big Jim Warrington in Little Mary Sunshine.
That's impressive.
And that's a shoot. That's for real.
I saw Hamilton with the original cast, so like I never stopped name dropping that. So anyway, I was super excited about this. But I wanted to ask you, for our listeners, if you could explain to them what is this Theality TV, Little House on a Ferry? What is this? How did you get involved?
Well, at the time, I'm 37 now, but 36 years old is when I signed on to do the project. And, you know, at 26, I probably wouldn't have done it because I was in that mindset that, oh, musical theater, oh, that's gay, you know, that's this and that, because I wasn't comfortable with myself. And when I got this opportunity to do the musical, when I found out the end of 2019, I actually was inspired by Chris Jericho, because Chris Jericho is in everything, and he did Dancing with the Stars years ago. So I said to myself, well, you know, if he can do it, so can I. And there hasn't been a WWE veteran that has branched off and done an off-Broadway musical. So Chris Jericho doing Dancing with the Stars, I said, well, like I said, if he can do it, I can do it. And I signed on to do the project. And at first I was overwhelmed because this was a major role. I was like second lead, a lot of verbiage, a lot of stuff to memorize, but I worked with the director every day. When I met the director, Rob Gould, I couldn't stand him, you know, but I worked with him. Yeah, before I wanted to body slam him, I wanted to beat the hell out of him, you know, because I hadn't met him. But fast forward to working with him every day, doing Zooms, running lines with him, running lines with a partner here in LA. When I got on set, I was ready to go, and I fell in love with the director, Rob, because he's got a funny personality that a lot of people don't really like, and at one time I didn't like, but it was the best decision I ever made. And if I have an opportunity to do another musical, I'll do it again in a heartbeat, because after it was all said and done, of course, with reality TV, there's conflict and all that stuff. There was real conflict. You know, I didn't think I could do it, but I did it. And like I said, I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I was impressed by it. It was funny to me to see the day after sit down with everyone.
I didn't say a word, man. That whole sit down, I just let everyone air their stuff out, because for me, it's a little different. Like, I'm not used to when other actors are on the theater set and they're like, oh, we haven't gotten our breaks and stuff like that. Me, I'm like, what breaks? I'm not used to having breaks. I'm used to wrestling city to city and then driving 250, 300 miles to the next city. I mean, I'm not used to breaks, but that whole time, right before the pandemic, everyone is in the dressing room, you know, gossiping. I'm like in the corner, and Keith will tell you, you ask Keith, where was Fred at during this whole time, like during this whole experience? Keith will tell you Fred was always in the corner, studying his lines, staying away from the drama. So that was like a disconnect, hearing about wanting breaks and this and that. Like, I wanted to knock out rehearsals, get in and get out. You know, I didn't want any kind of time dragging, you know. So that was the difference between me and the other actors.
Yeah, I guess musical performers aren't used to making towns and hitting house shows right after TV tapings and the grind that you're used to. But see, it's funny too, being a reality producer myself, and people ask me all the time, they're like, oh, everything you guys do is fake and this and the other thing. It's like, no, here's the deal. What we do is, the scenario might be something we came up with as producers, but we put real people into the scenario and then we film how they react. It's a social experiment. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what all good reality is, at least. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's people out there faking them. I ain't going to put no names out, but you know, I'll put good reality. Oh, stop it. There's, you know, good reality is putting somebody in a sit. Oh, here we go. We're going to air some dirt now.
I just have this funny, it's funny to me story about how, the show Justin and I actually met each other on. It was called Hell on the Highway. It's about a bunch of tow truck drivers on the mountain. And, you know, one of the days, one of them was busting my balls a little bit more than I wanted him to. And his favorite show is Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And so like, then I just started like telling him every chance I got, like, you know, that show's fake. You know, it's all written, right? It's not real. I was trying my hardest to ruin it. But then he's just like, yeah, but Kim's got a fat ass. It didn't work.
That was all he cared about. That's all he watched that show for.
I was trying to, you know, tell him Santa Claus wasn't real. He didn't care.
Yes.
But so you're doing this production, and it is kind of different than WWE. I mean, you're still trusting in your co-performers, but at the same time, you're making this reality show. Was it weird to be doubling up on basically two productions? Here you are trying to work on the actual musical Little House on the Ferry, and you also got cameras in your face the whole time trying to make a reality TV show out of it. Is it weird having to be, you know, on all the time, be in character the whole time?
I was cool with the experience since day one because, you know, you say it's different from WWE, but really, like, I can compare it very similar to WWE because, you know, they have what was the reality show WWE was doing? I had a brain fart.
Tough Enough? Tough Enough?
No, Tough Enough too, but Total Divas. Total Divas. Right? Total Divas. So they would always be backstage when I was with WWE full time. And, you know, anytime the cameras were on and I was around, I would go over there because anytime you're on camera, you're getting a check in the mail. You know what I mean? So like anytime the cameras were on, I'd like go over to Natty Nightheart and be like, "Oh girl, your outfit looks great. You know, what's going on?" And Natty knows how to turn it on. Natty will be like, "Fred, can I talk to you for a second? I'm having trouble with this one diva, you know." And I'd be like, what's going on? You know, and the cameras are right in my face. I know what's going on. And I don't like to throw anyone under the bus. So I would just be listening. Girl, that's terrible. Don't let that happen, you know? So I know the cameras are there. So it was never overwhelming for me. I just knew, you know, when the cameras are on to, you know, be yourself, turn up a little bit, but, you know, have some stuff to say, have some content to say. So the cameras didn't bother me at all. But with the musical, I wanted to get it down. You know, I'm a perfectionist, you know. It's different when you're like, you know, reading lines and stuff like that. But when you add singing and dancing, like my mom was on set with me. So I would always be checking my watch and my blood pressure would go from like 68 to like 90 something because I would be so frustrated. So yeah, it was fun for me.
So, okay. You know, and that's smart too. I love the fact that you say, well, like when the cameras are on, you know, because honestly, look, if you are in professional wrestling in any fashion, if you're not trying to get over, you're just getting by. Like you have to always be trying to get yourself over in some fashion. You don't have to be, you know, in the booking room trying to, you know, get people to book you the right way. But as soon as the cameras come on you, and we've been talking about this recently with some of the younger performers, like you get a hot stick, you get camera time, you got to make the most out of it every time you can. That being said, what do you think was harder, that first season of NXT or doing this, Theality TV?
The first season of NXT, anytime I do interviews, I always say it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. I hated it. I hated my experience because it was like a game show. You know, I always say if I wanted to do American Gladiators or American Ninja Warrior, I would have signed up for that. You know, what NXT is now is incredible, but when you put me out there and I have to juggle and I can't juggle and like I'm juggling, I'm messing up, and then fans watching are going to be like, "Oh, I'm not going to take this guy seriously." So I feel like it took me longer to get over. And also I wasn't out publicly. I wasn't comfortable. So anytime a mic was given to me, I was terrified. Before I came out, I would do wrestling interviews like this to deepen my voice, to sound more masculine. One, to sound more masculine, but two, I was a big fan of Shane Douglas, the franchise. He had that raspy voice, so I just wanted to mirror him to kind of hide who I was truly truly being, you know what I mean? But I wasn't being myself. So fast forward to now, I'm okay with just speaking and just being myself. And if I flub up, I flub up. It's natural, you know? So that's the difference between NXT when I first started and then the musical. The musical I was totally fine with, you know? I was totally fine with just being myself.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty interesting too, because I think a lot of times the talent that gets over and really does well in wrestling are the people who can be at least a part of themselves, and they're just amplifying it 20, 30, you know, sometimes 80%, depending on who the talent is, but amplifying who you really are. So wait a minute, you said Shane Douglas. We have a little, we had a little thing earlier on the show, or maybe it's later on the show, depending on where this gets edited in. But who's better in your opinion, Shane Douglas or Sting?
Shane Douglas for me.
Thank you.
Me, like Sting, like I do a podcast with my real life neighbor. He was always a huge fan of Sting, the blacks, the dark Sting. I was always a fan of the blonde Sting when he was doing matches with Lex Luger and stuff like that, Ric Flair. I was always a fan of that Sting. But when it came to Shane Douglas, I liked him as a kid growing up. I just didn't know why I liked him, but the way he talked, the way he moved in the ring, because at the end of the day, I love wrestling as entertainment, but I love wrestling. And the way he sold, the way he moved, the way he talked, I was always a huge fan of the white meat baby face.
Right. See, I don't think a lot of people realize that, you know, a lot of people have done what Shane did after Shane did it. And they don't get that he was one of the archetypes of that style. And he was one of the guys out there leading it on the indies and in all sorts of promotions. And they see it now and they go back and watch ECW tapes and whatnot, and they don't really get how big a deal it is. And I feel like my other co-hosts don't get the Shane thing because I'm a little older than these cats. But anyway, thank you, because you backed me up, Fred. I appreciate that.
Oh, okay. But he also gave a half vote to Surfer Sting, so...
Well, that's true. That's true. Okay. Okay. But so you mentioned coming out and being more comfortable after that, and you are credited with being the first WWE performer to come out while actually being an active WWE performer. It's not something that happens very often. What was the catalyst for that decision, and were you worried about it when that time came?
Well, I always say there are many, many, many reasons why I came out publicly. One that sticks out to me was at the end of the day, I found love in Miami, and I was tired of living a lie, a double life. And I ultimately wanted to be able to bring my partner. I hate using the word partner. I wanted to be able to bring my boyfriend backstage into the masculine world of WWE. I wanted to be able to bring him to red carpets, and just be me and be proud. And I was able to do that. And it was guys like, even before I came out, guys like Randy Orton, Big Show, Mark Henry, Sheamus, Titus. Titus was always cool with me, but those guys I mentioned just now, it was always a high and by type of relationship. When I came out publicly, it was those guys that made it a lot easier for me to walk into a locker room. Randy Orton, you know, I get giddy when people, I get giddy when, when I like other fans' stuff on social media, I know they're happy about it. When Randy Orton likes a lot of my stuff on social media, I get giddy, you know, because, you know, I've worked with him. He respects me. Him and his wife love all my stuff on social media. So I can just only imagine how, when I'm trying to say fans feel when I like their stuff. Randy has always been a big supporter. When I came out publicly, he was one of the guys that I came across in the hallway, and he was like, "Hey man, give me a hug." And I gave him a hug, and he told me that he was proud of me, and if I had any issues with anyone in the locker room, to let him know. And same thing with CM Punk. You know, CM Punk was my pro on NXT on the first season of NXT, and we said two words to one another on set of NXT. But fast forward to when I came out, he was another guy after he was done with his match at the time, 2013 with Brock Lesnar. He was all iced up, and he approached me at the Staples Center in the catering room, and he said the same thing. He told me to stand up. I was watching the show, and he gave me a hug as well. And he said, if you have any problems with anyone in the locker room, you let me know and he'll handle it. So it was guys like that that made it a lot more easier for me to walk into a locker room. And I would say I'm not the first and I'm not the last, but I've been able to pave the way for other athletes to come out and just be themselves. And, you know, when I'm on a set or if I'm backstage about to perform, I'm there to whoop up on someone. You know, I could care less about what people do behind closed doors. I'm there to whoop up on someone, go to the pay window, and then go on to the next project. You know, instead of worrying about what I do behind closed doors, I tell a lot of these other guys, you should be worrying about what your wife or your significant other is doing behind closed doors. Don't worry about me.
Ain't that the truth? Oh, and I've always wondered why people think that it has an effect at all. It doesn't necessarily have to be a part of your in-ring persona. You know, like Jake Atlas right now, I would gather to say most people have no idea and don't necessarily need to. I mean, my man just goes out there and is killing it in NXT. We saw him some in LA back in the day too. Like, dude is just solid. And then you have other performers like Sonny Kiss, who's a friend of the show, who wants to have that as part of the character. And that's it. You know, it's just them being who they are.
Yeah, you know, for me, it's about showing that being feminine comes in all sizes and shapes. You know, we all express it differently. You know, I've been doing this whole pandemic. I've been doing some of my best work, and I'm sure we'll get into it. I've been doing some of my best work for New Japan. Shibata-san, an OG with New Japan, has credited to me having some of the best matches on New Japan Strong. So hearing that from Shibata-san means the world to me. And it's almost like I want to kind of shove it in WWE's face. I love WWE. I still have a great relationship with them, but I want to shove it in their face. I definitely want to shove it in AEW's face because I've reached out to them not once, but twice, and they said no. So, but the thing is, AEW was never my goal to begin with. You know, it was always New Japan that I thought about daily. And I ultimately got connected, and I'm sure we'll get into the story whenever you guys want, but AEW was never my goal. It was always New Japan, and now I'm doing it.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think we have the same question. Why
was it New Japan? Why was that the goal for you at this point in time? I mean, don't get me wrong. We love New Japan, so I can absolutely see why any performer would say that. But what was your motivation behind it? I mean, it's a different style. It's harder. Yeah. Let's be honest. Yeah. It's harder.
Yeah. Well, even with WWE, I always say nothing lasts forever. I'm not Michael Jordan, but I always say, you know, Michael Jordan can't play basketball forever. And with WWE, it's the revolving door. You know, people always come back. But I knew after I was done with WWE, I wanted to do New Japan. And I've always studied and watched New Japan along with WWE growing up. And I was very, very intimidated in the style. And September 2019, well, before September 2019, when I was in developmental in 2010, I was really good friends with Lance Hoyt. And then fast forward to September 2019, I had ran into a show with him in Pomona, California. And he asked me, hey, man, how's everything going? I said, yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm keeping it moving. But I knew he was in New Japan. And I told him, you know, I've always had dreams of doing something with New Japan. And he told me in September of 2019, hey, New Japan is running a show November 2019 at the Globe Theater in LA. You live in LA, you should come to it. And I said, I'll be there. And the show started 7:30. I was there like 5 p.m. because 18 plus years of doing this, I still wanted to be there early, feel the ring, because the ring is a lot different from WWE. I wanted to be able to feel and ask myself from beginning to end watching the show as a fan if I belong there. And that question was going through my head thousands and thousands of times. And after I was done watching the New Japan Pro Wrestling show here in LA, I said to myself, man, I can hang with these guys. You know, I can go with these guys. And then I reached out backstage to Rocky Romero, and Rocky Romero reached out to me months later after I had met with him. He reached out to me during the pandemic about this opportunity to come aboard New Japan Strong doing shows here in the States. And I had to get blessed by my family because I had family at the time with me, and I didn't want to affect anyone. So I told Rocky, let me get back to you. And then my family blessed me with the opportunity, and they said, go for it, do it. You know, it seems like they're following all of the safety protocols that need to be done. And I contacted Rocky Romero, June, July or whatever. And then we started working together, and it was almost like a tryout. I was either going to one, shit the bed or probably have some of my greatest performances. And I've been doing that, you know, recently with Filthy Tom Lawlor. Him and I never touched. I didn't know who Tom Lawlor was. He knew who I was from WWE. But after it was all said and done, and we've shared the ring a few times, he's probably top 5 favorite matches of all time. Top 5, it also goes to Jake Atlas, who I worked back in 2018, I believe. But Tom Lawlor, man, it was like, if you remember Chris Benoit and Kevin Sullivan, when they would have those matches, that's exactly how it felt like. But between you and I, it was like, he was an incredible dance partner, Everything looked real. Everything looked rugged, but I was unscathed, if I'm using the right word. You know, we were both unscathed, but it just looked so real. And I'm in love with him. I want to wrestle him in Japan, in front of a crowd. Hopefully it happens in 2021, but I need Tom Lawlor again. I mean, we're always in contact in the DM. Again, I want to make it look as real as possible to the fans, but just real talk between us and the audience. He's a joy to be in the ring with. He's believable, unbelievable. And to have Shibata's son and everyone in New Japan praise some of our matches means the world to me.
I mean, look, I've seen Tom Lawlor legit put real hurts on people in MMA, and it's amazing that he can take that, make it still look like what he used to do, and then pull it back just, you know, so he can protect you, so he doesn't damage you or put you out cold for real. But man, everything the guy does looks so fierce. Fierce.
I'm seriously, I wish you could see, I'm getting goosebumps because that was in the back of my mind. Like, you know, him and I were talking, and like I'm saying in the back of my mind, man, this guy's legit. This guy could kill me if he wanted to, you know what I mean? And he reminded me of just watching the matches back that we've had. He reminds me of Kurt Angle, the way he moves, his intensity. And Kurt Angle is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And unfortunately, someone like me never got to share the ring with him. But I look at Tom Lawlor as a Kurt Angle, and I pretty much had my dream match, but I had it with Tom Lawlor.
I think it's awesome. And I mean, I'm a huge New Japan mark. So to hear you just talk about what it's like to get praise from Shibata for your match, and also to train by him, like, that's blowing my mind. I'm getting goosebumps from that. Like, I can only imagine what it's like to, you know, shake his hand and for him to say good job to you. That's incredible.
Yeah. You know, he had all the, when I first met him, he had all the young lions, and I was intimidated. I was asking the young lions, oh, is he mean? Like, I was like nervous, you know? And then when I first met him, I don't know who could bow low enough. I was bowing so low. And for months now, I've been learning just basic Japanese phrases and stuff like that, because I've realized, and this is just my own mind, just not playing tricks on me, but I'm very OCD about wrestling and about being prepared. I've been learning very little Japanese to have a better connection with a Japanese audience. So for me, I could say Shin Nihon Pro Les wa Ichiban. That means New Japan Pro Wrestling is number one. I can just say it like that. I can say Doi Tashimashite. That means you're welcome. That means I can say different little phrases to just have not only a connection with the crowd, but anyone I come across, you know. If I'm beating someone up in the ring, you know, I can be like, Iko. That means let's go in Japanese. So I can be like firing up, Iko. And then hopefully when it happens someday, I can go out to Japan for the first time and do what I do best and have that connection with the crowd and try it out, you know? So yeah, I'm a madman. I'm a madman. I want to have that connection, not only with the crowd, but anyone I come across in Japan.
I got to ask, because I mean, I'm thinking the same thing you're about. Just wait until you can get over into Japan and actually wrestle in the ring and wrestle some of their Japanese wrestlers. Do you have like a short list of goals in New Japan? Like I want to counter the Rainmaker, or I want to buy a shirt from Toru Yano or something. Like, do you have a short list of like things you want to do in New Japan once you get over there?
You know, everyone, not only in Japan, but here in the States, doing New Japan Strong, everyone top to bottom is so good. And there's, and for me, like I said, it's intimidating because everyone is just so good. So when I find out that I'm working a particular person, I want each, because you're only as good as your last match. I want each match to tell a story and do the best I can, and knock on wood, like all of my bouts with New Japan have been home runs. So I just want to keep that momentum going. And, you know, I mean, from Kenta, him and I talk in the DMs, and he tells me the 411 that, you know, people like me, you know, he gives me the 411, people like me. So I have to he told me just continue to keep doing what you're doing. And I'm going to do that, you know, and like I said, you're only as good as your last match. So I'm just thinking about working with everyone. Tanahashi, you know, I didn't think that, like, you know, I comment on his pictures and stuff like that. And then I DM'd him months ago. And I'd have to look through the conversation, but he actually responded to me, and like, he's been so kind to me. And he wants me to come out there. So just the interaction with him, I'm like fanboying, like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Same thing with Will Ospreay, you know, him and I are in contact. He's giving me great words of advice and telling me that I'm doing a great job. So it just means the world to me, man. The respect of your peers, you know, the respect of the fans is great. It's very important, but the respect to your peers is very, very near and dear to my heart. You know what I mean? Like, for example, someone like Sean Spears, who I wrestled before the pandemic, for him to, after we were done with our match, for him to come backstage and walk through the curtain and be like, man, I needed that after a match with me. It means the world to me, the respect to your peers.
Well, I think it's important too, because honestly, you can't get the respect of the fans if you don't have the respect of your peers, because it takes two for a great wrestling match, at least two, you know.
Yeah, well, it takes three too. It takes three too. A referee
Yes.
is so important, because a referee, like, you know, when you're rocking and rolling and you're trying to make pins and stuff like that, the ref is so important when it comes to the drama.
Yeah, you got to keep the pacing moving, and you got to tell the right story. But it's one of the things I love about wrestling, and the fact that I feel like there's especially with the internet now, there's so many ways to see the kind of wrestling that you like. And I hope that performers like yourself get chances to perform in different places, because I think, you know, for you, we can tell right off the bat that you have found a place where what you do works, where you can be you, where you can put in the kind of matches and the work that you really enjoy. And these promotions have different overall styles and different things they're trying to present. And some of those things may or may not work for certain performers. You know, I hear a lot of people complain and they're upset when they find out their favorite guy from the indies or from Impact or wherever is going to WWE, because for them and what they like out of wrestling, that style isn't necessarily going to be the thing. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But at the same time, it's so great to hear you talking about, you know, finding a place after having been a few places and being around on the indies and WWE, finding a place where you can really fit in and still want to achieve more. I mean, like, where do you see yourself doing this thing for 10, 20 more years? How long do you see yourself going in wrestling?
I'm 37. I can, you know, it's entertainment. So you can You can do it up until your 60s. You can do it in your 50s. Who knows? I'm 37. I feel great. I make my 20s jealous of my 30s. I've got my pandemic fro, the greatest fro of all time.
I love it.
I've got the goatee. I look mean. I'm not if I could be bald and no facial hair, that's my favorite look, but with the pandemic fro, the goatee, I just look so much meaner on New Japan Strong.
Sorry to interrupt, but there's this moment in your match with Lawler where he went to pick you up by the hair. You shrugged him off, like, get your heads off this.
I'm glad
Can't touch a black man's hair like that. Come on now.
I'm glad you noticed that, man, because details are so important to me. I'm not gonna make, when you're in the ring with me, I'm not gonna make it easy for you. I'm gonna make it easy, but I'm not gonna make it easy. I'm gonna wake you up. I'm not gonna just let you pick me up. If you pick me up on my hair, I'm gonna shrug you off. Get the hell off me, To the fans, it makes it look real. To the fans, they're like, oh man, I think Fred's pissed, or these guys aren't cooperating or whatever, So believability is so important for me. I'm not going to make it easy for you, and that's the details that separates, that's the details that mean the most to me. And with the wrestling now today, the athletes, and Chavo Guerrero said it the best when he was on my podcast. The athletes today are way more better than they were years ago. I can't move like Keith Lee, but if Keith Lee can move like that, let him move like that. For me, it's very important, the in-between stuff, the selling, the storytelling is so important. It's not about the moves. I'm sure you've heard it from tons of people. So for me, the athletes are a lot more athletic today, but the missing ingredient is the in-between and the selling. I have to agree with Chavo on.
Man, don't let Chavo fool you either. Have you seen him lately? My man is yoked. Dude, Chavo is ridiculously jacked right now. I haven't seen him look that good in 15 years, man. Chavo talking about these young bucks. Man, he can probably outrun 80% of the locker room at any promotion right now.
Yes. Chavo's a close friend of mine. I don't follow many people on my personal Facebook, but he is one guy I surprisingly follow, and him and I always communicate and talk. And he's looking great. Health is wealth, and I hope at 50, 49, or however old he is. I think he just turned 50 or so.
50. It was 50 last month, I believe.
Last month.
For like 20 years.
I just hope to look like that at his age, Chris Jericho's age, still doing backflips and stuff like that. I hope I'm like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Chavo is lying, cheating, and stealing from Father Time at this point. Okay.
Yes.
Dude's amazing. And you worked with Chavo when you went back to NXT, when you did that other run in NXT? Was that when you met Chavo?
Yeah, NXT Redemption. But our relationship goes back to the first time, 2003, the first time I was ever invited backstage as an extra. 2003. No, I'm sorry. 2005. 2005 was probably one of the first times I was invited backstage to WWE. My other experiences with WWE was like Offset doing a commercial, or having to go to the headquarters to roll around with JBL or something like that, or a Big Show. But my first ever time being backstage with WWE, 2005, and I had to play a detective. And one of the writers came up to me and said, "Oh, could you play a detective?" I said, "Sure." And again, a nervous wreck, wasn't comfortable with myself. And I was a detective because at the time the Guerreros were feuding with the Bashams, and I was with the Bashams, and I had to kind of swerve the Guerreros to, for Eddie to leave the building so Chavo could get attacked or something like that. But when I was doing the skit, Vince McMahon at the time was very hands-on, like with the skits and stuff like that. And I was nervous, and we did the takes 8, 9, 10, 11 times. And Vince McMahon at the time was like, and I kept flubbing up my lines. nervous. And Vince McMahon was like, I'm buying the Guerreros and I'm buying the Bashrooms. I'm not buying this detective. What are we going to do about it? And then we did the last and final take, which was like the 12th take, and we nailed it. I nailed it. And after we were done, I was like, man, I'll never get hired by WWE. And then I got hired in 2009. But what I'm trying to say is doing the skits and flubbing up, it was Chavo and Eddie Guerrero that would calm me down. They would be like, hey, Holmes, just be natural, have fun with it. And Chavo always remembered that story. And years later, he was like, I remember when you were backstage. I remember when you were nervous. So we shared it on my podcast, his podcast. And those are memories I'll always cherish, and I'll always talk about. Chavo being there for me in 2005. And then in 2012 or 13, when he was my coach on NXT Redemption. So a long history with Chavo.
Yeah, and clearly you guys both have plenty more history to go because he's jacked and you got a lot of New Japan in front of you, my friend.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a quick question. I love wrestling. I love wrestling merch. I don't know if you could see in the background. I got a big gold up there. It's
okay. Yeah.
I love wrestling belts, and I've seen you carry around a belt recently. I was wondering I don't know if you have it with you, if you could talk to us about that, talk to us about your belt, and talk to us about your Block the Hate campaign.
Sure? Yeah.
Our other co-host, Jimmy Velasco, by the way, wanted to make sure that I mentioned to you that he wore your Block the Hate shirt when he was interviewing Mandy Rose recently.
Sweet.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to ask you about your Block the Hate belt and your campaign and how that's going, and also just say like that's part of my excitement for talking to you is like from the Kevin Kelly interview, like your story is bigger than the ring, and there's so much more like I don't know, like involved. Sorry, I'm bad with words, but
no, I get it.
The significance reaches far greater than entertainment. And so I wanted to ask you about that aspect of your work.
Yeah, I don't have the championship title with me, but it's probably 2 or 3 years old. I guess maybe 2 years old. It was a birthday gift from Headquarters Clothing out here in Sherman Oaks that I partnered with years ago. And it was almost like they knew I liked belts, and I guess they thought it was a cool gift to create something and give it to me for all the advocacy work I do and for all the work I do with them. Headquartersclothing.com. You can check out, lifestyle clothing brand of where's your headquarters? Where do you achieve success? You guys achieve success doing what you're doing, whether it's doing interviews or being part of the reality TV world. For me, my headquarters is doing what I do in the ring. A lot of my ambassadorships outside of the ring. My headquarters is inspiring the masses and sharing my story because, like I said, I always say, don't die with the story and you tell it. So when they presented me with this Block the Hate Legacy Championship title, I thought it was really cool. So I bring it to appearances, I bring it to autograph signings, and I call it the People's Legacy Championship title. It's not my title. It was a gift, but I would say anyone that takes a picture with the Block the Hate Legacy title, they sign their soul to the Block the Hate movement. The whole message with the Block the Hate movement is, in this world, we all receive hate for various reasons, but in order to be strong and successful, you got to block the hate. As a kid, I got teased because I had a speech impediment. I would stutter a lot. You guys might have got bullied for various reasons, but in order to be strong and successful, you got to block the hate. And the Block the Hate is my pose, the equality sign for all, not just for me. And I always tell people the Block the Hate movement is not just an LGBTQ movement. It's a movement for anyone that gets bullied into silence. So I want to be able to help out the masses. And that's what, I've been doing, and I won't stop until I'm 6 feet under.
Love it. So, Fred, what is it? What is it that is your story, and what makes it so important that people need to hear it? I think that people need to hear it, or else you wouldn't be here. Byron thinks that people need to hear it, but why do you think people need to hear your story? What's important about your story, Fred?
Well, you'll hear some people say, oh, I need a break from social media. I need a break. It's too much. It's too much. Well, you can look at social media in one or two ways. You can use it to elevate people, or you can use it to, crap on people. I got to keep it PG. I got family around. But I use my social media to inspire and motivate the masses. And, the reason I do what I do is because I remember two stories. One story is a fan who I had met years ago. He was a straight guy, and I met him, nice fan, and then he contacted me a few months later, and he was contemplating suicide. He contacted me in the DM, contemplating suicide, and I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I'm a friend. So I immediately started sending video messages to this one fan, and I guess I talked him out of it. Fast forward to maybe a year after that, he was finally getting married to his girlfriend at the time, because the reason why he wanted to commit suicide was because the girl that he was with broke up with him, and he was serious. I knew he was serious. I had met him, so I talked him out of it, I think. And fast forward to him getting married to another girl. So I think I might have saved a life, So that's why I do what I do. And the second story is, on top of the wrestling I do a lot of work before the pandemic with the Covenant House in LA that deals with homeless youth. And 43% of homeless youth are LGBTQ here in LA. So I remember doing an event at the Covenant House where I visited and shared my story. And I met this guy, this kid, Oscar, who was a big wrestling fan. And he was talking to me about this rock, because I wanted to talk to everyone at the Covenant House. And this kid, Oscar, was talking to me about this rock he had in his hand. And I was looking at his forearms and his wrists, and he had cut marks, severe cut marks. So I kept listening to his stories and stuff like that. And then fast forward, when I was done with my presentation at the Covenant House, Oscar raised his hand and he pulled out a piece of paper from his pocket, and he so eloquently read this poem about all my career highlights. And I was like, I'm a grown man. I immediately started crying, sobbing. I'm talking sobbing. We couldn't have cameras in there because privacy and all that stuff, dealing with homeless youth. But I was crying my eyes out, because here's this kid that I had met a couple of hours earlier, has wrists, cuts on his wrists, talking to me about this rock. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then him so eloquently reciting this poem about my career. That's why I do what I do, because it's easier for me to sleep at night, knowing that I made a difference in people's lives. And like I said, I won't stop. Won't stop till I'm 6 feet under.
You absolutely shouldn't. All right. So we talked about one belt, but I got to talk about that moment when you become a tag team champion in WWE. What is that? I don't know if a lot of people understand. It means a lot when you get to wear any major belt, because that means a lot of people have signed off on your path to get there. What was that feeling like for you? Was it the feel good moment that you think it is? Did you see it as like, oh snap, this is going to mean more work? Like, well, what is that moment like for you?
Well, it's funny. When Titus and I beat New Day for the titles, they were like, "Here, take these titles, man." Especially Big E. Big E was like, "Here, take this damn title, man. I don't have to carry it around anymore." And I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me?" I'm like, but I tell fans, or say in interviews, they always say, "Oh man, I wish you would have held the title more." I say, whether it was 10 times, 5 times, or 1 time, I did it, and it's in the record books, and I did it when I was out publicly, so it was a moment for me that I'll never forget, because I was finally comfortable with myself. I was given the tag team title. We held it for a couple of months. New Day beat us again. I forget which pay-per-view, maybe SummerSlam, to become the longest reigning tag team championship. So yeah, it's a moment I'll never forget. 10 times, 5 times, 1 time, we still did it. And I'm still grateful, very grateful.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that definitely some responsibility comes with the belt. You got to do appearances. You got to lug around the carry around version. And
I love it. I love it, especially going through the airport. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
I get to the airport extra early because you have to go through security, and I'm very calm, cool, and collected. I take my time. I don't like getting to the airport late because I'm rushing. I'm like Scott Hall or The Undertaker walking through the airport, because I know people just looking at me like, oh, is this a football player or something like that? So when I get to security and I take the title, I let them know ahead of time, hey guys, I wrestle. This is a championship title. I just want to let you guys know that it's like heavy hardware, So I let them know that. So there aren't any red flags or anything. So they know. And then you'll get some people that'll open the bag with the title. They'll look at it. They'll talk to their other coworkers. And for me, it's fun. I get giddy because, before I started doing this full time, I was one of those wrestlers that when WWE was in town, I would go to the gym that they would be at, and I would work out with some of the wrestlers, not work out with them, but just be in their presence. So I know, I'm a fan too, so to see the security guards, the TSA, envy the belt, it means the world to me, because again, I was one of those guys that, would stalk wrestlers and just love the business, And
is that why you got into it? I mean, you were a kid in New Jersey? How did you get started doing this thing at all in the first place? Why wrestling?
Yeah, my dad was a big fan of it. He was a big influence in my life. And I always say about my dad, and we talk, I always say about my dad that he always had, as a kid, he always had a hot meal on the table for me when my mom at the time was out clubbing and at the clubs dropping it low and stuff like that. He always had a hot meal on the table for me. And he was a huge fan. He got me into it. And it's just something laser-like focus. I was tunnel vision. This is something I wanted to do. I did the backyard wrestling. I would show up with the fanny pack around the waist. I would show up doing the backyard wrestling with the roller bag. I was so serious about it. So serious. I actually have. I just got a new fanny pack because I'm bringing it back in style. I don't wear it around my waist. I just like stylish. I like to just have it around here.
New school,
new school. So I back in high school, I had a fanny pack because I thought I was like, the old timers, like Shawn Michaels, the Road Warriors, those guys wearing the fanny pack. So I was very serious about this. And right out of high school and in college, I had joined a wrestling school in Dirty, New Jersey, IWF Wrestling School, Independent Wrestling Federation. I was their golden boy, I caught on so quick, and the rest was history for me. Dr. Tom Pritchard at the time was a scout, and I owe a lot of my success because of him, because he believed in me. And And like I said, 18 plus years of still doing this. I'm still a fan. I still get nervous before matches. I still show up to the buildings early because I have to get in that zone. Nothing's changed.
I mean, but see, the fact that it's a joy for you, that's the important part. I mean, It's a labor of love. Anybody who knows. You can't just go in there and expect to be handed the spotlight and have it be easy work. Very, very few people have made it in wrestling that were that. There have been a few. Don't get me wrong. There have been a few, but for the most part, the people who are in it love it because it's hard. Oh, we lost Fred.
Oh no. Maybe he'll pop back. How much longer do you think? I think we should maybe wrap this up.
Oh, I was just going to. I was just literally
okay.
You to see if there was another question you wanted to ask him before.
I mean, I think we're good.
Oh, there's Fred back.
What did happen?
I don't know. Sketchy internet. We were about to wrap up anyway, because we're cutting this into a whole other episode that we have a bunch of stuff for. But
yeah.
So, let me just say this. Thank you, first of all, for coming and sharing your story with everyone. We really appreciate having you in, and it's so heartfelt. Like I said, it's a labor of love and passion to be in this business, and not just to be in this business, but to also want to showcase different sides of yourself and to help, reach out to people out there with entertainment, with positive messages, with whatever you have to offer. And we really appreciate it and commend you for all of it. And I'm gonna block the hate on anybody who's not down with musical theater, because I am a huge musical theater fan. I'm glad that Fred is getting into musical theater, which is amazing to me, because I can't even begin to tell you how much shit I took as a kid for being in musicals and wanting to do song and dance stuff. That's not what the guys on the football team want to hear when you go into the locker room. Like, oh, what do you mean you can't come to practice next week because you got the lead in the musical? What is that nonsense? So, hate comes in various forms, and I feel that hate mostly comes from people's lack of understanding. So the more that people like yourself can get out there and help people just understand, help people see things in a different light, to say, hey man, I can be out and be a wrestler. It's no big thing. I'm still getting in the ring. I'm still do exactly what you want to see me do. That's it. That's the whole story.
And I'm not perfect, and I admit all the time I was one of those guys. I'd be like, musical theater, oh, that's gay, or I'd be in a locker room and involved in the conversations, oh, that's gay, when in all actuality I was living a lie myself. So I'm not afraid to admit that at all, and I'm not afraid to call people out on their BS when it comes to not living their truth, or just having hate in their heart. It's, for me, it's easier to love than it is to hate, and I'm going to continue to keep spreading my message. There's 7 billion plus people on this planet, so there's a lot of work for me to do, and I'm going to continue to roll up my sleeves and do what I do best.
Well, Fred, we love you, so why don't you let us know where we can find your podcast? I know Theality TV is where people can find the reality show and get links to the musical that you were a part of, Little House on the Ferry. So where else can we find you, and where's your podcast at?
My podcast I do with my real life neighbor. It's like therapy for me. It's called Pro and Bro Wrestling Podcast, available on YouTube and iTunes. Again, I don't do it for the numbers. I do it because it's like therapy for me. It's like practice for me, because being a Scorpio, quiet, only child, shy guy, it's practice for me in talking and being a better storyteller. So, my podcast, Pro and Bro Wrestling, follow that. You can follow me on my social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram at my real name, my government name, at Real Fred Rosser, RealFredRosser. Follow me on social media. In the holidays are around the corner, and even if it wasn't the holidays, and if anyone that's listening, watching this, that don't have support in their family or that are looking for some advice, be a part of my family on social media. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I am a friend. And if you're dealing with something, you're not alone. Reach out to me. I got your back. Block the hate, salute the great.
Thank you so much, Fred, for joining us today. And we will be right back after this little brief break, because we got a little bit of a Lucha Underground rewind to do still. Stick around.
Lucha-masks.com, in partnership with Mask Republic, give you personal protective masks to keep you Lucha strong in the fight versus COVID-19. With world-class luchadors Blue Demon Jr., the Lucha Brothers, LA Park, Ultimo Dragon, Cain Velasquez, Conan, and so much more. Head to lucha-masks.com and you too can become a masked warrior. Lucha-masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.
This week on Lucha Underground Rewind, we are taking a look at Season 1, Episode 30. Can you believe? There's 39 freaking episodes in Season 1.
I
thought there was only 20.
Long
I
season.
fucking hate this show and this podcast. And how,
I like how you got this far into the show to say how much you hate it.
Yeah, no, he had a lot of fun.
No,
with
it
it.
wasn't this long.
Well, this is the come to Jesus moment every week where it's like, hey, Casey, we're going to do another episode of the podcast. And Casey's like in the DM and he's like, oh, sweet, I could talk about this toy. I could talk about this awesome video game and blah, blah, blah. And then I give him the rundown and there's this giant chunk of Lucha Underground stuff in there. And Casey's like, I quit. And then every week it's like, no, Casey, please come do the show. And Casey's like, no, I quit. And then it's like, we finally convince him. And then he realizes that we do still have to do this Lucha Underground part. And then he's like, fuck you guys.
it's like, if we're going to talk about a promotion that's been dead for 5 years, let's talk about Wing that's been dead for 15. Okay. Or let's talk about ECW that's been dead for 18.
You know that I have seriously considered turning this into an ECW podcast on
I am
several
all
occasions.
for that.
Yeah.
I don't think Byron can handle it. I don't think they're allowed to watch ECW in England. I think that they
no.
call it
ECW was broadcast here like kind of a mixtape like episode, but it was
There's still new
after
episodes.
the Spawn animation.
Oh, look at the Philly kid
There you
over
go.
here with the
There
jacket.
you go, Jim. There
All
you
right.
go, Jim.
So, Casey, here's the deal I will make with you. We will officially turn this into an ECW podcast as soon as we get through the entire run of every episode of Lucha Underground.
I thought the deal
All right, this is going to become a
I-
hardcore TV podcast.
I thought the deal was that we were going to just go back to where we've already talked about the episodes and then not talk about it anymore.
Right, maybe. Here we go. No,
God, please.
let's try.
It feels like it.
Anyway, 6 years from now, you'll totally be off the hook, Casey. So, season 1, episode 30, submit to the master.
I'm going to fake my own death.
Vignette.
Have you guys noticed a certain sexual theme with storytelling in the Underground?
No,
yeah,
never.
creepy perverts with people tied up and chokes. And,
Submit to the master.
Submit to the master. And then
Vampira's commentary. Oh,
I mean,
we'll be back next week for Think Warm Thoughts.
I would not be surprised if many storylines for this show had been developed on FetLife. I think that would not be entirely surprising.
Well, next week is It Rubs the Lotion, isn't it?
Should I Google that website?
We were supposed to get the real story behind all of this, but someone's dodging us like a little bitch.
You throwing around call outs and stuff. Ooh.
It's because you realize what episode this is going to be.
Yeah, Casey is referring to the fact that Monsieur Le Christ Joseph said that
I would never say that about DJ. I love him.
No, DJ never confirmed for this week.
No, we just tried.
Or any week. But he did say he'd be willing to do the show again. He's unblocked Byron, so maybe he'll swing through. Maybe it'll be our Christmas gift to everybody. Maybe it won't happen until 2021.
DJ, play Fortnite with me. It's dope.
Oh God, Casey
you can be the Mandalorian.
Casey is coming into the Fortnite world.
You can floss.
We can't get him out of it.
Floss. I don't know how to do the floss, you guys. I don't have that unlocked.
Well, you have to be standing to do it.
I know. I'm not going to stand up for anything. I don't get paid for this podcast. I'm wearing Zubas right now.
Casey, we should play Fortnite together. Let's do.
We should.
Fortnite podcast.
Yeah. How am I going to carry all those? How am I going to carry all those rifles and my partner too, Byron?
No, thank you. All right, so look, I got to talk about an episode of Lucha Underground. This first vignette, I don't have much to say. Chavo, Dario, they're still planning this Black Lotus thing. I get it. It's a thing. It's, Chavo wants to make a deal with everybody.
Yeah, I'll make a deal with you and help. And no, I'm going to make a deal with Dario and help. No, look, this whole episode's going to be Chavo for 45 minutes. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I love Chavo.
Episode's over. Cero Miedo.
Jack Evans versus Argenis. This is a little bit worth talking about.
I like how they start the match saying no one gives a fuck about either of you. That's a great way to get the talent over.
No, I liked that. And I think it actually is a good way to get the talent over because the audience almost immediately reacted with like, oh, no, these guys are dope.
They are dope.
The audience was pretty cool, though, because some of us were cheering for Jack Evans really loud.
I know. I like that. I like the call out of like, hey, Argenis, you're from this great wrestling family and you're the one that nobody cares about.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Argenis didn't get a fair break.
He's the only one that's done our show, so he's the best one in that family as far as I'm concerned.
Argenis rules, and all of his matches, he's solid, if not, above solid in every single match in the Underground. he just never really got the break that he needed on the show.
He needed to lose so he could be a skeleton full time, Byron.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he's already debuted as that skeleton at this point, though.
Yeah.
This might have been taped out of order. I don't know.
No, it wasn't.
No,
He's already
season
been
1 now.
My favorite part of this match, by the way, aside from popping, because Jack won with that All Japan roll up, was that live Jack couldn't open the little bag to get to the medallion out after the match.
He fiddled with that bag for somebody that I'm pretty sure pulls things out of bags quite a bit. I'm just saying, he couldn't get that bag open.
And we all wanted, we don't know, we don't see vignettes at the table. We didn't know what was going on. We're like, oh, he's going to get something in that bag. I want to know what we're doing.
Oh, we're like, is Jack going to smoke a bowl right in front of us right now?
Oh, we didn't know what was going on with those bags for the longest time.
No, because no one would show what was in them because they weren't made yet. So they're just like, yeah, I won. And we're like, oh.
Just some weird random prop of a bag to win. Hey, wouldn't be the first time Jack fought for a bag.
I do gotta say, Jack, when he got reversed by Arhennis, there's a time where he's selling that he yells out "my testicles" in this match. That is fucking great.
Well, because Arhennis hit the most awesome spring up nad kick in history. How did Arhennis not get over completely? That should have been his signature move, like the big flip.
Not only giving that move, but having Jack Evans as the one taking it.
Oh, it's perfect. Could you ask for anything
you guys remember, I think it was Taka and Brian Christopher, or Taka and Aguila, one of those light heavyweight matches. Someone did the same move and drop kicked the guy in the nuts. And the announcers had to cover for him while he was recovering. And it was just hilarious. Oh God, I wish I remember which match it was. I know.
Is this one of the ones on Raw?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember when Perry Saturn got a hard on. And they had to end the match quickly.
What?
I remember when me got a boner, and then the big boss man hit it with the.
No. We need Meep to explain what he just said.
No, I don't know that we do.
I don't need to hear about
where he got he was quite erect.
Meep stands up to show his crotch.
Yeah. And they did a thing where he dropped onto the rope and then the guy rolled him up or something on the disqualification real quick. It was towards the end of Nitro.
You don't want to take the Thez press after that. That's
come on. Anyway,
give me a Thez press, I suppose.
Jack Evans wins this match with a backslide and a nice bridge roll up thing.
Yeah. He should win. He should win every time he does that move.
It's amazing. So much fun.
He should just win every time. He should win every time. That's the actual, even if he does a punch.
I'll send Tony Khan an email right now and we'll see.
Yeah, Antoine, I know you're listening right now. I know you stole my Ultimo Panda idea. And so how about you steal my Push Jack Evans idea?
And here's another idea to steal, by the way, since we're on that subject.
Cerro Miedo, world champ.
Get Darius Carter on Dark.
Oh, yeah.
Get him on your show. He has everything that you're trying to get out of your wrestlers on Dark already.
Check this out, Byron. You call him Darius Carter, the Shardy Farter, and he sprays for the win.
Brown mist.
He's the most old school true.
Sometimes it's a little green.
He's the most old school true heel that you will find on the indies now. He doesn't sell merch. And when I went to I think Warriors of Wrestling King of New York tournament out in Staten Island, they all had this bright yellow shirt that was made for the event, and they come up to the ring for a big group photo before the tournament. And he comes out in his regular like robe and suit. He's
respect.
like, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not touching that stupid shirt.
Mad respect.
He's
not wearing Hogan colors for this shit.
Did you see that video I sent you? Oh, so good.
I've got an exciting idea for a vignette for Lucha Underground for you. What if we take Daivari, Big Rick, and Cage and put them all in a vignette with a live microphone?
And then, but still, they all get to talk in the vignette, and then you pan over and you see Puma sitting crying. And they've actually sewn the mouth shut on his mask.
Drinking piss.
You know, Puma's got to be backstage like, dude, I could have at least done that. But Willie Mack was clearly the best thing in that vignette, and he took
all he got to say was "all right,"
and he took a random beat down from Cage. Yeah, but the looks and everything. At least I feel like he had some acting.
All he had to say was "all right," but they had to do 10 takes to edit him out saying the N-word after each time.
Which is true. I mean, Willie Mack.
That was so good.
You know how some kids say like, or some people say Willie Mack uses the N-word like you use the word when you're trying to think of what to say. It's amazing.
You know, but this segment got me super excited for the Cage Mac stuff. I love their matches. It's great.
Oh yeah, and
dude, they're feuded so good.
I didn't mind a little bit of the dust up in the locker room. Like as far as vignettes could have gone poorly, like this could have gone way worse than it did. It was fine.
I liked how the lockers got knocked down and then he took the slam on it. See, that was a cool spot. It looked awesome the way they shot it.
It did, and I like them having this, and we go from one backstage brawl into another one, and I'm definitely curious to see what you guys say about this because they've done fight sequences on the show, but they've always been on different sets. They've never been like an actual locker room brawl.
Can we get Skip back on and ask him why they use the shots where the close-up shots of the actress clearly mouthing her other person's lines, and they use those close-up shots for all of her close-up shots?
To be fair, there probably wasn't any other takes they could use of that.
Yeah, right. But she was doing early season Fresh Prince acting. If you've seen the reunion, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, and I know
I never noticed that until they pointed that out in the documentary. By the way,
so funny.
Now you can't unsee it.
I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like look, she's gonna kung fu all these guys, and she catches a beat down, and then it ends in some kind of sex choke thing off of FetLife. It is.
My favorite thing is
that's for Byron. Now he's really curious. Now he's gonna be all over.
If you don't get a boner, then you're not watching Lucha Underground.
Chavo
this could be our new sponsor.
Beat out of him. Like, how bad would you be feeling if you're Chavo? You're getting the living shit beat out of you, and the first person to run to rescue you is fucking Cortez Castro.
All right, we don't. He's a nice guy.
Eventually Cholo jumped in there, but Cholo had an excuse to getting his ass kicked because he got hit in the dick before he got to do anything. And that just rendered him useless. The other guys, they were all getting worked in the face and the legs and the arms and shit. No dick shots. So that was their own ability making them lose in that situation instead of their penis and or testicles.
Yeah. Yes. And then we end the whole thing with a kinky choke and Chavo bringing out the cuffs.
I have a problem with the end. She just beat up all these people. She has this training. She did all this great stuff. And then she just immediately decides, all right, I'm done. It turns her back to them. And then gets jumped right away.
Dude, it's an Obi-Wan Kenobi move. She knows that if she gets captured, she will be more powerful because she'll be right next to Matanza probably.
Interesting. I could see that.
Then when she gets put into the jail cell, she'll look at Matanza and be like, hello there.
Hello.
Hello there.
All right. So the big match on this card, big title match for the trios titles.
Yeah.
Davari Cage and Big Rick versus 2.5 Men.
It would be really awesome if Tejano fought all of Son of Havoc's battles. I think every match would be better.
I have to say, this was one of the strangest run-ins that I think I've ever seen because he ran in.
After Evie got beat up.
Yeah, after she got beat up, didn't really cause a distraction and still help the Unlikely Trio get the win. It's a little odd.
This is a really intergender
whistling
show today, too.
Is someone whistling?
Oh, it's Meef sleeping during the Son of Havoc. I'm gonna be real. I fast forwarded to the finish for this match.
Look, the cool.
I thought the entire show.
I'll tell you what. The cool thing I thought was the suplex switch from Rick to Cage. That was dope. That was kind of cool.
I don't remember because honestly, we've been to so many shows. I don't remember which ones I was there for, and even if they show me on camera, that's not even accurate because they cut me from other episodes and put me into episodes I was not in.
Mm-hmm. Same.
But they cut away. Did they botch that?
I think it was. I think it just looked a little
shaky,
wobbly on the Passover. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I assume because those guys have done that spot. I feel like a good amount of times. I was like, they didn't drop them. They just probably were going like this, trying to get their balance.
Yeah,
I feel it would have been more impressive if they handed over to Daivari too while he was still drinking piss.
I just saw on NXT, there was a similar type sort of situation with the suplex where a guy was jumping onto another guy and he caught him, but the guy was falling down forward and he had to like stop that momentum, deadlift him, and he was yelling the whole time into a suplex.
Yeah.
It was Fabian Eichner. Fabian Eichner with I don't remember who they were.
One of them, the grizzled young vets.
It was Zach Gibson. It was Zach Gibson.
That was such since we're talking about that, suplexes, that was such an impressive.
He did not drop him. He literally muscled him fully up. And, we've seen that spot with Ricochet doing the Northern Lights into that deadlift suplex. But this one was like straight up muscled him up.
Well, it's also this one because to stop the momentum going one way to lift them and just to lift up and then throw them over straight up and over. That's not easy.
That's real grown man strength.
Well, let me tell you something, Byron. It might not be easy for you because you are just another victim of the human suplex machine.
Go ahead. Set it up, Byron.
Beat me if you can. Survive if I let you.
Man, you could have said anything there, Byron. God. It's the easiest setup in the world.
Hey, Chuckline, how about some Team Taz jackets? Like the old school ones.
I would buy one. Absolutely.
Hey, want to know the good thing about the trios belts?
Yes, I want to know.
The company's dead now, so we never have to see a match.
Technically, Byron, Justin, and I are trios champions.
We were holders of the trios titles. I think we could say
we held the titles.
We held the titles.
I don't
think title holders. We're literal title holders.
I'll tell you what I think is really good about them. I think that they are really good at covering up bad FUPA tattoos.
I also
does any of her gear like actually show it? I feel like all of her gear like properly hides it.
Most of it does, I think. Now she has some gear. The red one I think shows it a little bit. And she doesn't wear it very much anymore. She was wearing it on the indies a lot, but I don't think she wore it in Lucha.
I like what she's wearing now. She's back to the pants.
Yeah, because that's the only thing she can get over the cast.
That's true. No. I mean,
she was.
Oh, you're talking about these days?
Yeah. This match, she was wearing the red shit with the
pants. Yeah, the pants that she wore last week were also. Oh, listen, we're not a fashion blog, but
speak for yourself.
We're not a fashion blog, as we're all wearing wrestling and Star Wars merchandise, talking to everyone.
But I wonder, what.
Oh, that's a fashion line. Okay,
is she going to maybe I don't know, get it lasered off, or is she happy with?
She went on a tattoo TV show to get the original one covered up, which was even worse, which was literally a fire crotch.
Yeah. But this one, at some point, it's okay, I did the best I could. Let's just get rid of it.
I don't know that you can.
You mean like the Undertaker Sarah tattooed? You can just say it. You can just say it. I won't get offended.
That was great.
Bad life choices, man. Bad life choices.
This wife is gonna stick as he's getting her booked on TV. This never ends bad at all. It's tattoo her on my neck.
He might as well get Trump tattooed on there because he knows.
I don't get the whole getting the girl's name tattooed thing. It's like if you're at the stage with her that you're going to get a tattoo, you're already getting laid. You can't get more pussy. You just can't. It's like you're already at that level.
You find another one with the same name
to take it to. You can't go any further. Why are you getting this permanent tattoo?
By the way, that applies both ways too. Side tangent. I had a coworker who on her second marriage had the dude's tattooed Randy Orton, Ken Kennedy, tattooed on the back, on her back. Oh. Literally the day after they got married, he took all of her shit, emptied out the apartment. He had to get an annulment and then had to get the entire tattoo blacked out.
Yeah, no, you do that. if you're with someone in a relationship and it involves having to trust them with like your bank account and your credit, they get a tattoo of your name on them like that, run. That is a sign.
That is a sign, but that's great. They're an actual mark. So I guess you have to be taken for a ride at that point. I don't know.
You guys,
she's the one who chose to get his name.
I know.
Still, I feel bad for her. I hope there was tattoo removal or a cover up in the settlement or something. I really do.
I have no idea. No. That was her second marriage out of, I don't know, 4 or 5.
Wow.
Before she was even 25.
I don't know.
Man,
before 25.
Who knew?
Before 25.
Wow.
Who knew Elizabeth Taylor was so into?
By the way, so this was a coworker, and she's had 2 kids with 2 different customers of ours when I was working retail.
Wow. She's got to be cute though.
That's some customer service.
If 4 guys are willing to put a ring on it before 25, she has to at least be cute.
So so if you have your IG handle, if you want to slide into the group DM,
wow,
for Justin.
Nope.
No, Justin's got plenty of work with that eyeless Phoenix. That's his fantasy.
Outlaw.
I'm good. Eyeless Phoenix is where it's at.
Yeah, Justin only identifies as Cenobite, so
so that was it for this episode of Lucha Underground, right?
Yeah, that's
well,
it.
How many more vignettes? I think we had one more vignette afterwards.
There's 2 more vignettes. There's the kidnapped Lotus is being taken to Matanza, if you're saying it the correct Spanish pronunciation, Matanza. That's happening. That's a vignette.
Yes.
That's a thing. And then I guess this next thing is a match that Casey talk about.
Hey, no, I can talk about it because Pentagon won. I mean, that's all that matters, and that's all we have to talk about.
Well, first of all, I do want to acknowledge that Penta comes to the ring wearing the Perros del Mal t-shirt, and this was the weekend of or the weekend right after the Perro.
Around there, and he's pointing up directly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, at one point
he's like, "Get me through this bullshit, Perro, because I have to deal with horrible booking right now, brother."
I think that Pentagon did not fight this booking at all.
I don't think he did, but he won the
have
match.
Problems with these kind of things, and
he won the match.
That was his tag partner at the time. They were intergender champions in AAA at the time.
You know, tag partners don't always like each other,
but they were both in Perros de Mal, I think.
Do you remember when Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit were tag champions, Byron? They didn't like each other one bit.
SmackDown.
I don't remember anything about.
Oh no, Chris Benoit has been officially erased from Byron's memory as one of Byron's all-time favorites.
I'm talking about Kurt Angle. He did so many pills, even I forgot what he did.
Wow.
In this thing, he decides to shoot on Kurt Angle.
That was solid.
So, speaking of this match, I just thought the ending was hilarious. Post-match, I should say, because there were people in the crowd chanting for Sexy Star to get her arm broken, and hindsight being 2020 in the year 2020, those people I agree with now, given what Sexy Star has done.
Yeah, that was Casey in the back corner of the bleachers. If you're looking at the TV, it'll be in like this corner, your top right of your screen. Casey and me standing, yelling, "Break her arm!" Even like during the
they mainly focused on Ed. Because he was the closest one to a camera in his first row, who was blatantly
was right there. He got the prime time this time. Casey and Byron are in the top right corner.
Yeah, we were out of eyesight basically where we.
But you could hear us.
But you can hear us.
Pentagon at one point pointed to us in the stand. Yeah. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fuck up you guys."
He pointed to us, and then he did the kick.
Yeah.
And then we're like, yeah. And
but see, here's the thing to me, Jim, because I know you and I, we weren't against Sexy Star back in the day at all. Like I fell for the booking a little bit personally. I didn't have any issue with Sexy Star, and in hindsight, I definitely do.
I did cheer for her in that one match that she said was her last match when she lost, and then it ended up being like another bullshit. Yeah, so I gave her the sympathy clap because she was leaving, and I'm like, I never have to see her again. This felt great.
But in this one, dude, like even Stryker is having a hard time with this. Sexy Star cannot do a complete submission. She can't even put the final parts of a submission together, and they get to the point where like there's nothing that they can do on commentary. There's no amount of storyline or people yelling in the commentator's ears that they can even come up with anything positive to say other than, you know, the whole looks like she didn't get all of that one kind of level commentary for her submissions.
I gotta say, Jack Evans busted out a way more convincing submission in the opening match than anything she did in this one.
No, it was funny because
we got to see the surfboard get a fucking submission. Come on.
Oh, that was
fantastic.
And
he slammed her face.
Yeah, that was so great. But first of all, if you're watching wrestling now, you're seeing Thatcher just do a really awesome guillotine choke. And then you go from seeing him
cutting bone,
right? And then you go from that, and then you see Sexy Star, who's like 75 pounds, trying to one-arm choke someone 150 pounds heavier than her, you know, patting him on the back and trying to choke him with one arm. You're like, that's not a guillotine.
And you can see both Penta and Marty trying to tell her how to finish the moves. She gets the clover leaf in, but then she doesn't cinch up the neck. And Stryker and Vampiro are just like, oh, and Marty is in there leaning in, like, can you tie it up?
Yeah,
choke, at least put a choke on.
Like he's trying to look like he's doing the check for the illegal choke, but you can see him kind of
trying to tell her how to finish the move. It's amazing.
Oh man, and her arm bar, like Stryker and Vampiro at one point are just like, you know, she needs to do this to really get a submission on it. You know what? Maybe she just doesn't have the faculties to get a submission win.
And look, all credit to Penta for doing his best with this thing and for chopping the crap out of her chest because
super kicks.
The super kicks and the chop was the chop was full on too. He did
and
not
that
take
was
it
before
easy.
they started
with him. She was
that was before they started foleying that shit too.
Yeah. She was hanging with him on the strikes, and I commend her for that because she was getting hit hard as fuck. And
it's just okay. Go ahead.
I don't know what happened to Meath.
He died.
It just got less British in here. You know what's awesome? The Ninja Turtles.
Oh, here he is.
So mean. He's
hey, look, it's a Ninja Turtle. Fuck you, England. Woo!
My cat decided to absolutely trash it, and then it wouldn't go back right. So,
oh, nice.
Well, anyway, like
butthole on camera. So
it was a good. Hey, how about I've never seen this submission before, but the I guess the 69 Indian Deathlock that that Penta does.
Mm-hmm.
I thought body scissored Indian Deathlock with a body scissor, basically.
He's like, he's like standing and she's upside down.
It's just weird because like he did so many things just to get it to the one thing.
The standing.
It's kind of like when you're doing the figure four and you spin your whole body around when you don't really have to do that. You could just put it on your leg.
The move you're thinking of is called
he's standing.
You're talking about the Goliath.
Let me show
the
you.
Goliath bird eater, Byron.
Here's
Goliath
Penta, and then here's Sexy Star, and he takes her and holds her upside down.
Oh, that move.
That one, right?
Yeah.
And then basically like bends her backwards like that, you know?
It's the Goliath bird eater, Byron.
Yeah.
Like
it's
that.
Also
when he recently did that to Phoenix.
He did it to his own brother, and it seemed really anytime he does that move is weird. When he did it to his own brother, it was really weird. I want to think that that's the real reason why Phoenix got injured in that match. He's like, I can't deal with this.
I can't deal with it. I'm done with that.
Hey, he's got the flap there. It makes it less weird. It's like fine.
I made my brother promise not to suck my dick on live TV, and he's sucking my dick. I'm out of this match.
Yeah,
it's not as bad as a Tombstone. Tombstone's way worse.
But you know what? I used to love Taker's original Tombstone when I was just.
You used to love when Mark Kelly did a Tombstone?
With the Tombstone,
over the
shoulder is like the 69 kind of thing, but like with Penta's submission, he's literally thrusting his crotch into the face and bending them so they even go more face forward.
And
it's cool. It's wrestling. Okay, it's fine. There's fine.
A lot. That reminds me of one of the very first Steve Austin podcasts where someone was telling the story about some about some gay stuff they're doing in ribs or whatever, and then someone mentioned about power bombs. It's a lot of faces and crotches, and he just kind of
check on a jackass,
and he just kind of shrugged that off. Like you just gotta get used to certain things in wrestling.
I want to point out that wasn't my Stone Cold impression there.
God, no. That wasn't a Stone Cold impression. I can't even call that an impression. Are you kidding me?
It sounded like Foghorn Leghorn.
What is the Stone Cold?
I say what?
If I do say so. Listen, I was really excited about the Vampiro run-in when this episode happened. I am a Vampiro fan as much as he is a ridiculous human being. I have always been a Vampiro fan.
No, that makes me more of a fan, dude.
I love it. It was great.
Yeah,
I also was not privy to the fact that they had already let it slip by accident at tapings that he was the master. I had stayed away from all the spoilers of Lucha Underground, so I had no clue what was going on. I was like, oh, Vamp got in there, like, and protected Sexy Star and stopped this whole arm break thing, and it was tremendous. And it also made me like Penta more. Like, I was totally a fan of the whole Vampiro run-in thing. And he looked so much better than Conan at the time that it was, even though he looked terrible, after seeing Conan hobble around for weeks, seeing Vamp like run up in the ring and look like something for even a half a second, I was totally over the moon about. And the vignette afterwards was great too, where they play the little sound bites and then he smashes his head in the mirror. Like that was 100% a Skip. Skip, like, tell Vampiro, give me 10 minutes, come back here. I got this stage lit. All he has to do is stare in the mirror and smash this thing. And then Skip turns it into gold in post. It was amazing.
Yeah. How long do you think it took them to go through all that commentary to find those lines?
I was thinking the same thing, Jim. Right. Like, those are from different episodes.
100%. And also not the stuff that Skip is normally going through. So, but I bet that either Evie Dub had it all put aside in a bin and sent it to him, or Skip just went through all that shit himself because he's ridiculous.
They also threw the Son of Havoc modulator on some of those lines too.
Yeah, they did a little pitch shift thingy.
But
that's his actual voice.
He did great, and he was hitting all those little subtle nuances in the performance too. But something that I don't think we can overstate is
consider yourself dumped.
Is like the temple, when it really gets going, like it shakes, the floor shake underneath you when the crowd really gets into it. And from the very beginning, two people got that reaction from the very beginning. Now, that's Conan and that's Vampiro. Oh, okay. And when Vampiro gets up from under the desk, oh my God, just you could feel everyone wanted to see him wrestle. Everyone wanted to see the Vampiro that they watched when they were younger. And when he's going face to face like this against Penta, I don't think the spoilers were. I didn't know him at the time either. So,
and I think they had a match idea planned for a long time, but I think that this was the moment where Vampiro decided that match was actually going to be something. Like in his own mind, I think he felt that moment too and decided, when we do that match, we're going to go full on, because from what I understand, it wasn't always planned to be what it ended up actually being. Like, it turned into more because of Penta and Vamp. They were the ones that decided how far that was going to go, and they went all the friggin' way. So
I wish we could watch those like 25 minutes, however long it ended up going. They cut like 15 out.
Oh yeah, for a good reason. 15 minutes was them trying to get the ambulance in the fucking building.
That's true. But
we'll hear about on an upcoming show, because Casey has promised to stick around while we review every single episode of Lucha Underground, the series. Anyway,
we're only like 9 episodes away from that.
We need a listener of the show to help us find a Vader helmet so we fulfill our end of the bargain.
Hey guys, guess what?
But I just want to say,
it has to spray steam.
Yeah,
Brian, finish your thought.
As I got excited about the Mac Cage thing, reminded me of what was to come there. I'm just so excited for the Penta Vampiro build. Oh, like Penta tries to light him on fire. He hits him in the back of the head.
I think you're getting to some more of the good stuff and the more consistently good stuff for the last few episodes.
Byron, I appreciate you mentioning Vader helmets, because
thank you.
I gotta say, we've got to talk about my other Vader helmet right now, right, Justin?
Yeah, I think we do, and there's a reason why. Because we don't want your Vader helmet area to turn into like the jungles where Predator hunts.
No, you don't want it. You want Vader, not Chewbacca, is what we're saying. Rest in peace, David Prowse, and also Peter Mayhew, I guess. Oh, this is depressing now.
They're all dead, Casey. Thank you. They're all dead. You're ruining my childhood. But you don't want to ruin your manhood just because your childhood is ruined.
Yeah. The only thing that can make you happier is to see the bare skin of your nutsack.
Look, I think you guys, if you watched our show, I think you guys all know what we're talking about. We're talking about the delicious line of man grooming products from manscaped.com, right?
Yeah.
You guys know what we're talking about. The Lawnmower 3.0, the crop mop ball wipes, the ball preserver. We're talking about the whole compendium of fashionably awesome items for your genitalia from manscaped.com.
And your nose, you got the weed whacker for the nose.
That's right.
You got the foot powder for your footsies so they don't get stinky stinks.
You got the ball deodorant.
You got ball deodorant. Crop wipes. You've got
it's crop preserver ball deodorant.
Yeah, it's crop preserver ball deodorant, but there's also the ball toner, which if you want to talk about your balls making you happy, spray some of that toner on there. It feels tremendous. It's beautiful.
True.
It's
I wish I could know what that felt like.
It feels like this. It feels like this. It feels like that Shawn Michaels little.
Oh yeah. Little menthol tingle.
All right, let me tell you the particulars, because that's the part that we're contractually obligated to do. But it's also important because we use this stuff and you might want to know some of this stuff. The Lawnmower 3.0, that's the actual shaver. That's the thing. You click it on. Bzz, it's got the guide light, which I love because you can do it in the dark if you really have to. I wouldn't recommend trying to do it in the dark, but my power was out
additional light. It's additional light that helps.
It's the guide light, and it's got the skin safe technology, so it doesn't. You don't want that, and it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So
you definitely don't want that.
Gotta love that ceramic part of it.
It is. It works great.
Exactly. You are cutting your balls with the same technology that great sushi chefs are using to make your sushi. Enjoy.
The ceramic blades. That's correct.
Yes.
Then you've got the new weed whacker. That's the ear and nose hair trimmer. It's got the same skin safe technology.
I use it personally. Good stuff.
You got the crop care kit, which includes the crop preserver. That's the ball deodorant. So you keep them all fresh and smelling good. And that just extends the life of the good things that you do. And even on the days when you don't shave, you put a little bit of that on after you get out of the shower and you're good to go.
Yeah, you feel like a manly cowboy, but in the balls.
You got crop cleanser, which is, the wash for the area when you're in the shower. You got the crop mop ball wipes in case you didn't use enough crop preserver. You get 3, 4, 5 hours into the day. You got a date. You want to clean some things.
I think we know somebody that probably has a carry-on bag full of. I can't point in the right direction. I'm sorry. Fuck. Okay, Meath. There you go. Thank you.
There it is. And
Jim,
the foot
you guys
duster.
are pointing to Jim. Why are you pointing to Jim? I wasn't paying attention. Why is everyone pointing to Jim right now?
Because it is documented fact that Jim may, in fact, have a good use for some of these products. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Except the foot duster.
I'm just doing my best Pete Dunne impression right now.
Jim doesn't need the foot duster. Jim has immaculately groomed feet that don't smell bad. But Byron, hockey, after hockey practice, listen to me, man. Hockey, skates, foot duster.
Follow-up question. Why do you know so much about
Don't ask so many goddamn questions, Byron. This commercial's long enough.
Your inquisitive nature is really not. Anyway, the Manscaped Refined Cologne, cool, effective way to stay smelling nice and fresh on your dates. Look, and don't forget, they're all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, paraben-free, so you know your manhood's in good hands. You can get 20% off and free shipping right now, manscaped.com, with the code MMM. That's 3 big M's right there on manscaped.com. You're going to get 20% off, free shipping, and that's available in the United States, the UK, Australia, where we've got lots and lots of listeners. And what's that? That 51st state to the north of here?
What's a wallaroo, mate? What's a wallaroo? Does
I don't know if Americans should be trying geography.
What's a wallaroo? Hey!
I want to say Delaware. That's our 50.
Kenyatta?
I want to say that it's
Wales.
La Kenyatta Flintridge?
It's great that Manscaped is vegan, cruelty-free, because that gives you more right swipes on the apps. Because sometimes you'll see someone and they have vegan on their profile, and you're like, there's no way my balls are going to smell good for this person. Now they can.
And they'll taste vegan.
Yeah, because Byron's balls smell like bacon for some reason.
It doesn't say on here if these products are edible, but we could probably try to find out.
I don't want to try to
Byron's
find out.
balls are like poutine.
Wow. Just speaking of Canada.
Involved.
So Byron, be sure to use code MMM for 20% off and free shipping and take care of that.
Yeah, we'll be right back after a real break with something from a real thing. But please do order from manscaped.com. Christmas is almost here. Buy your man something, buy yourself something. It's that time of year, and we want to keep our sponsor around and keep them happy because we love this stuff. So we'll be right back with the Wall of Shame, and boy, you are not going to want to miss this because somebody fucked up royally this week.
Oh, you done fucked up, son.
Coming right back.
If you're listening to this and you haven't visited luchacentral.com, it's time to do it. LuchaCentral.com is the online home for Lucha Libre, where you can get all of the top news in English and in Spanish. Find the best curated video content and original content not seen anywhere else. Find when Lucha Libre events would be happening in your area. Find photo galleries from top photographers covering Lucha Libre around the world. From weekly polls to annual awards. Seen and read by top executives in all of the major Lucha Libre promotions across the globe. And on top of that, it's free. LuchaCentral.com, your centralized place for all things Lucha Libre.
God damn it, Justin. Fuck, Justin.
I know. Did you read that thing?
I fucking read it. Okay, look. I have bit my tongue for however many fucking episodes we've done.
And you've done a fabulous job. Thank you.
Since we've been a part of the Mass Republic Network, podcast network, luchacentral.com, whatever you want to call it. I haven't cried about my late figures too much, just a little, just enough.
No, just every day, every week.
I haven't been upset with like video game decisions that were made. No, just a little. No, I'm at my breaking point.
So should we bust out the Wall of Shame for this?
We should bust out the Wall of Shame.
I'm not even going to talk about anything else that's on the Wall of Shame. There is one person going on this week for one thing and one thing only.
Justin,
Kevin Kleinrock.
Yes, and I gotta be honest with you, Justin. I usually hate this segment. I usually pray every week that we collapse this segment because I think putting that negative energy, that anger, and that hate should be my gimmick and my gimmick alone. So, this Wall of Shame,
mine and yours gimmick.
This Wall of Shame just bothers me. But I gotta say right now, the second I saw this, I said Wall of Shame. And so before we even talk about the transgression that happened, we're going to say, Kevin, you can defend yourself, but the only way you can defend yourself is coming on this podcast, and you got to wear that Cobra Commander helmet the whole time because it's no longer a Cobra Commander helmet. It is the Dome of Shame, and that is where you deserve to be locked up after this transgression, sir.
Yeah, it's bad. It's so bad. So you guys are probably wondering what it is exactly that he did that was so bad. Kevin Kleinrock fucks up the easiest thing in the whole universe. Something that is integral to every person's childhood. Something that
masturbation
is almost unfuck-upable.
Every man who has ever had to feed himself on his own has been down this road.
Okay, so let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you exactly what Kevin Kleinrock's idea of a quote unquote grilled cheese is.
Hey, guess what? There's no fucking grill involved, is there?
No, he toasts 2 pieces of bread, then melts the cheese in between them via the microwave. First of all, that actually takes longer than making a grilled cheese. It's more difficult to do it that way.
I don't consider myself a foodie. In fact, I eat like shit most of the time. But one thing I know is a good grilled cheese sandwich, and I will make that good grilled cheese sandwich, and I will love the good grilled cheese sandwich. This is a boxcar hobo grilled cheese sandwich, but I say that, and it's offensive to boxcar hobos because they probably actually do melt the cheese over the fire. It escapes me how this can be a thing. First of all, the real way to make grilled cheese, fuck you, Byron, is to use mayo instead of butter on the outside and then grill it that way. It's actually tremendous. It sounds weird, but when you try it, you'll be like, the bread's so fluffy and lovely, and I love it. And I love it. And you know what? And if you use code MMM at Manscaped, your balls will feel like that too. But I digress.
Use beef dripping.
This is
okay. Beef fat, that
cheese.
works too.
No, the way to make it is first you grill bacon in the pan, then you fry the grilled cheese in the bacon grease, right? That's how you cook it. Because what else are you gonna do with the bacon grease? You put the bacon in it. Also, add a little bit of mustard. Mustard goes in the sandwich.
I'm gonna call Kevin out because I don't think he does dairy. So how much is that fake cheese going to melt in between two pieces of toast in the microwave?
I know complete vegans that eat grilled cheeses all the time with vegan cheese. They use their vegan butter stuff. Like, it's not like the basic concept is so simple. You spread some type of butter or fat or whatever it is on a piece of bread. You put it down in a pan. You put a piece of cheese on it, then you put another piece of bread with some type of fat and or butter on it. And then at some point in the process, you flip it over so that both sides are cooked. This is the entire process.
I need to tell you how to do it properly then. I need to tell you how to do it properly.
Meef.
I mean, you can tell me a better version of it, but
there are literally machines you can buy to do it for you.
But they get sweaty. But the thing is what you want to do with the cheese is what cheeses do you end up using? Cheddar, I'm guessing.
Look, here in America, you can use one slice of American cheese, and it would be a more satisfactory version than what Klein Rock is doing.
So
I usually
what you don't want to do is use sliced. Use grated. You chuck that in the pan.
Okay.
Wait for it to brown slightly. When you put the bread on top, so the bread when the cheese melts, it actually sticks into the bread. And then you can get your paddle underneath because it's like got a layer now.
That's a spatula for those in America.
Paddle, yeah. A spatula, yeah. And you flip it, and then you put your slice of bread on top.
I've done all these versions.
So that's
minus Byron's
probably melted.
I've done all of these things before. I mean, Jim, have you made a grilled cheese before? Jim's made a grilled cheese before.
How would you make a grilled cheese?
Mine is similar to most of you, butter.
Yeah.
Then the cheese, then the bread, then the butter, press a little, flip, press a little, done.
That's it.
I got to tell you, though, there's literally a machine that you just put the cheese in, you put the bread in, you go
like a panini press. But here's something two things worth noting. One, you see, Kevin, this guy probably doesn't know how to feed himself that well in the first place. If you've seen how thin he is. Right?
So come on, we're built the same way. Come on.
True.
But two,
height-wise,
we have a host of the show who's from a land known for two things:
shitty food,
bad teeth, and just plain food.
Oh, and not liking and not being able to say ninja.
Can't say ninja. Yes. Two things.
Ninja.
So here's a guy. Here's a guy
turtle.
From the land of
turtle.
They don't even put salt and pepper on their runny eggs and soggy toast.
Oh no.
How to make a better sandwich.
I am the boss at scramble. If I make scrambled eggs, that's salt, pepper, and paprika.
No, I've been doing paprika in my shit too. It's phenomenal. I add a little cayenne pepper too to add a little.
I can't
even believe Byron can say the word paprika.
Oh God, I hate doing this show. Oh.
Okay, look. Well, I'm going to talk about
a fashion blog, a cooking show, or
look. I'll tell you what this show is about because I'm gonna get off the grilled cheese thing. Kevin, you're on the wall of shame. I don't know what could ever possibly get you off this time. You might have to get us if you get us sponsored by Coca-Cola for $1 million an episode. Maybe we'll let you off
Mexican
the wall.
Coke.
But I just don't.
Achilles.
This is hilariously awful. This is the worst that you've ever done, Klein Rock. Please and. God bless anybody that lives in that house with you for putting up with your nonsense if you've ever made a grilled cheese by toasting the bread and then microwaving the cheese to melt it. That is just egregiously disgusting.
We found out about this because Kevin posted, I can't believe I got made fun of for making grilled cheese like this. Oh, you can't, can you?
Have you seen the post? Everybody is nailing him on it.
I mean, look, at least he's self-deprecating enough to understand that this is fully wall of shame material.
Was there even an Instagram story poll with the picture of it and saying, is this right or wrong? Because I think that needs to be done.
No, because he showed the good one.
He only took pictures of the good one.
He showed the good one.
Get into it, okay?
That was forced upon him by his family members just because of the fact that what he had done was so wrong. So yeah, of course he took a picture of the good one, and he had to explain where it came from because he couldn't put that picture up and say he made it because clearly he can't make anything.
Can we talk about something that doesn't make me throw up?
I am. I'm going to talk about The Mandalorian. I have to talk about The Mandalorian. It has nothing to do with wrestling. I don't care. I really liked this episode. Some people didn't think it was that great. It was a little short. It was a little truncated. But this was
First of
Robert
all,
Rodriguez.
They're probably Star Wars fans.
What I like is how when Justin has
Star Wars fans are the dirt worst.
Everyone starts talking over him, so he can't even finish it.
I mean, look, but look, I've said the thing about it is I realized that my Disney Plus membership is pretty cheap because I already had Hulu and ESPN, so I got the add-on. I'm literally paying $3 a month for Disney Plus. Mandalorian, like one episode of it, easily pays for it because I would have paid if I had gone to see Mandalorian stuff in the theater, it would have cost me hundreds of dollars by now, and I would have gladly have done that. So my entire Disney membership, it could be Saved by the Bell reunions that I don't want to see for the whole rest of the year. It could be High School Musical, the show of the show,
That's
shows
Peacock,
of the
bro.
musical of the show. 15 million of those, and I wouldn't care because Mandalorian is completely worth every penny that I have given them.
Can I, speaking of giving pennies, can I tell you my favorite part of the episode? Spoilers?
Absolutely. No, it's Tuesday by the time this
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
It's hard to get Mando, and they were out. So I need someone to DM the show so you can mail me your Mando.
Anyway, speaking of the toys, Hasbro just did this Back the Razor Crest thing where people paid $350 to get the toy version of the Razor Crest. Next episode of the show, they blow the fucking thing up with no hope of it ever being rebuilt.
I love it.
Woo! I love it. That was such a dick move that I love it so much. Also,
if they can rebuild, if they can start another Death Star, I think the Razor Crest would be pretty easy.
You got me there. there. I gotta say though, if anyone makes Boba Fett a meme, I'm gonna come to your house and kick your ass.
I never even thought of that until now. Why would you put that thought into my head?
He literally willed it into the universe.
What I really enjoyed, this is the first time I've seen it in a Star Wars movie. Maybe they've done it before, is when Boba Fett was fucking up stormtroopers. He was literally smashing through their armor. So it wasn't just like
it was super violent.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense that if you have a concussion blow on them and it smashes their helmet, what's inside the helmet probably is fucked up.
Yeah. But I mean, also, look, if you're going to make Boba Fett go face, you have to do it in a less certainly like a completely violent kind of way to get it.
It's not
over.
even just turning face. So, it's actually being like a viable character as if you only look at it cinematically, Boba Fett has done nothing.
He's bumbled and fallen into a pit. Yes.
Yeah. In Empire, he's supposed to, find Han and whatnot, but you know who did it for him? Vader, the one who hired him to find Han.
And in Empire, he is the UPS delivery driver. He is the king of queens in Empire. Yes.
And then in Jedi, what happens? He gets his jetpack hit and he goes flying, hits the side of a ship, and then falls into the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, and in the prequel, he's basically a whiny little bitch kid who cries over his dead daddy.
Yep. So basically, if you don't look at the comics, if you don't look at the Legends or expanded universe, he doesn't really mean anything cinematically. This finally validates the character.
But a lot of people had an issue with that because they're like, no, Boba Fett's supposed to be the strong, quiet, steely type, never take off of something, this, that, and the other thing. It's like, no, dude crawled out of a Sarlacc pit. So he's turned over a different leaf. Maybe not a new leaf, but a different one.
Yeah, dude.
The best, the best Boba Fett that was seen on screen before this version was the one in the holiday special, which was his debut.
Also, I'm a little concerned that whatever happened to the Sarlacc covered his face in veiny dick skin, but
I like that. I will say this about the Hollywood, the holiday special, though. I'm very upset that Disney Plus has labeled the other thing, the Star Wars holiday special, to try to take down searches for the original one. which is
It's
clearly
actually
exactly
pretty
what they're
good,
doing.
and it makes fun of stuff from the original holiday.
Right,
special.
it does. It does.
It is. It's good. It's good. I don't.
I mean,
discount
spoiler
that. But
alert.
anyway.
I hope. Spoiler alert! If for anyone who hasn't seen the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, but I died when all these characters are coming into the Falcon, and you hear Greedo, who is supposed to be dead, walk in and just say McClunky. I lost my shit. Lost my shit.
Greedo is my favorite. One of my favorite characters.
What, Max Rebo? Max Rebo.
The fact they're like, isn't it the Max Rebo 7? And you're just like, and it went dark.
Well, look, that
also
is
the Slave
literally-
One appeared on when the Slave One flew over. I think
Let's see if they have to. Let's see if they have to
midnight.
change the name when they make the toys, like they did with Slave Leia.
I don't know. I'm still wondering though, what exactly is a Grogu? And did I take a big
It's a
Grogu
frog.
last night?
Oh,
in
do you want
Italian.
to see?
Some kind of weird sex move, like I Grogu.
Do you want me to
Grogu
show
the
you?
shit out of him? No, don't show me your Grogu. Keep your Grogu in your pants.
You want it to grow and goo?
No. Oh, that's all we have time for. Thanks to our guests. Thanks to Byron Fever for doing all the work to edit this hot mess together. Thanks to at Jimmy V over there for stopping by today. Thanks to at Meeflo for coming in from across the pond. And for at Lucha Gringo, thank you for actually showing up one more time to keep doing this shit show. So until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.
penis.